it'll go live. There we go. Okay, guys, welcome again to Collector's Mingle. This is another great episode we have for you guys. We're going to talk about quarter scale Mando, which just came out. Hawkeye. We're going to talk about quarter scale statues versus figures. We're going to talk about, is the collectible market changing? We're going to talk about payment plans. All the good stuff that you want to hear about, it's going to happen on the show. And I don't feel like there's ghosts in the background or something. The only one I don't hear is I'm missing one voice right now. With that said, guys, hang around. We're going to jump right into this. You guys just made a perfectly good intro into a terrible intro.
That wasn't me. That was Mike.
No. It was Mike. It was totally Mike.
Also mute, so I don't know what
Yeah, it
you're
was totally
talking
Mike.
about.
No, it was a great intro because you guys were contributing. You were pushing me along. You were helping me along.
Yeah,
so it's all good.
definitely.
So, guys, we got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about tonight. But before we do that, let's introduce our wonderful, like I said, always handsome, but not single panel, because we're ready to mingle, but not exactly single. Lael, how you doing tonight, man? I know you got a lot going on right now. Things are a little bit crazy. You just did a posing session.
Yeah.
We'll get to this Bulls fan in a second. But Lael, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. Everything's great. Everything is peachy like a motherfucker.
Peachy like a mother effer? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, monetization's gone, so I might as well say peachy like a motherfucker. It's fine. You already did it, so. So I'll go to Optical real quick because that Bulls jersey, he's showing the guns, and I mean, we can't delay on that. Optical, are the Bulls going to win the championship?
They should just cancel the entire season and just give us a trophy.
By the way, every time we try to game stream like Optical, let's game, he's like, I'm watching the Bulls. I'm like, but the Bulls suck. It's okay.
They don't.
I know they don't this year, actually.
They don't. Yeah. And I just suggested it to Commissioner. Just cancel the season, get it over with, just give us a trophy. Move on to 2023, it's pointless.
You guys just beat the Nets. So
and Knicks, we went to California, conquered California. We went to New York, conquered New York.
Yeah.
We might go to Argentina next, so who knows?
Well, that sounds pretty good. The Bulls, they'll just send the Bulls to the Olympics. Don't even send the rest of the Olympic team.
Don't. I mean, who needs Olympics?
Yeah. Who needs it? So, Dante, how you doing tonight, man? Man Hot Collectibles, thanks for joining us once again.
Man, thank you so much for inviting me. What's up, everyone here on the panel? What's up, everyone watching tonight? And the first question is, what the hell is Pennywise, man? I'm going to ask this question until he's actually out.
You told me maybe the first week of December, which we are in. So I would think this coming week. So,
somebody's giving me dates, a bunch of dates. I don't know what to believe anymore.
I just, at this point, you sent me that, and I was like, don't give me hope. Don't give me hope, bro. Man. I sent you the Hawkeye GIF because it's so accurate.
But one thing we're going to do for sure is as soon as Pennywise is out, we're going to do a live stream.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Doesn't matter when it drops, Dante. We're going live. We're going live. I don't care if it's 1 a.m. We're going. Wake me up. Send me a message. Call me on Facebook or something.
Okay.
We're going live.
I don't know about 1 o'clock, but we'll try.
Well, 2 o'clock maybe. All right. So, Mike, how you doing tonight, man? First time on the stream. You walked into a fun one, I can tell. So, and you pre-ordered Prime 1 Sauron, which I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, I had someone push me over the edge, but a little bit of cajoling there. But yeah, thanks, Will. I have to build a custom shelf just to get it when it comes in about 3 months.
Dude, that thing's like 65 pounds. Is the shelf gonna hold it?
Oh yeah, I have like brackets that can hold 1,000 pounds, so it'll be fine.
Damn. Okay. Nice. Okay, I need to talk to you then. I need something like that. And the thing, that Sauron's big, dude. It's like 65 pounds, but it's also like 40 some inches tall. So
yeah, it's almost like 4 feet tall and it's about 24 wide and deep. So it's a big one.
Right. It definitely is. But it's gonna be a great one. It's already sold out. So
I think I literally got, if not the last one, like second to last one, because I bought it and the next day gone.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Once you bought it, I looked it up and I was like, oh, sold out. So
perfect timing.
Crazy. By the way, Iron Logan with a super chat. The Pose Master 2.0, him and Layout. It's starting to rain. Well, I don't know what that means. Maybe it means Pennywise is dropping.
No, it means the super chats. He's like, you got on him last week, I guess, because he dropped the super chat for Justin. He was like, what about me? So he's paying it forward.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. He's making it rain, in other words. Okay, gotcha. With super chats. Thanks so much, Iron Logan. You're the man. Got to bring him on again sometime soon. Let's address the chat real quick because I forgot to do it last time. I'm the worst host of all time. Sukathri, sub gentlemen. Docinator, what's up, y'all? Daniel, Renz, Tolentino, the collector number 1. Anthony in the house, 6 Scale Mafia. Let's see. Bob Dylan, the greatest moderator on planet Earth. He moderates opticalized game streams when Nazis try to take them over. So thanks so much, Bob Dylan. Ashley Chase and Doc Smizzle, by the way, even though we don't forgive him for leaving people to die, he's a great moderator. Ashley Chase, 16 Flicks, Angel, Jazzy, Simon, Tobor in the house, Tobor, Collector Chats, Isaac, our Battlefront partner, Optical. He was actually pretty good. So
He was decent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we carried the team, but you know.
I mean, my back hurts after playing.
Maybe Lane too. Maybe Lane did a little
My
bit.
back hurts so much after carrying this team last night. But I managed.
Genta, what's up, everyone? Let's see. Bob Dylan, Victor Rodriguez in the house. Jazzy Hugh, Max Geekdom in the house. Oh, the Queen, Latoya in the house. Latoya, it's good to have you. Dante in the house twice. Let's see, he's here, and then he's also in the chat, just like I would do. Iron Logan said, making it rain. Justin said, good day, lads. Justin, you're going to have a fun time listening to a couple of these topics we're going to talk about. So one of them was inspired by you. So let's see. Hugh bought new clothes today. It was one of the toughest decisions I made in a while. Yes, buying clothes as a collector is difficult. It seriously is. TLC, that's everyone in the chat. So guys, we got a full docket of topics tonight. And it's gonna maybe get a little spicy, Yes. But we're gonna start with some news because this is the less controversial aspect of the show. So we're gonna talk about Hot Toys Mandalorian quarter scale. So with that, let me share my screen because this is gonna be something that I think we need to discuss. This quarter scale Mando dropped people were selling it like Toys Wonderland and other companies were first batch companies like Toys Buying Age. They were selling it, but Hot Toys hadn't officially announced it. So it got released. I think it was Friday. Is that right?
Thursday,
Friday. Yeah, so it got released, quarter scale Mando. This is pretty much on time, but there's also a rumor that the 6 scale Chrome Mando is coming out early. I guess we'll see on that one. But to start, Leal, I want to get your thoughts on this quarter scale Mando. What do you think?
Oh, it's a decent figure. Again, I'm not a quarter scale person. I think I've kind of made that perfectly obvious. I don't do quarter scale, never will do quarter scale. It's a beautiful figure. I won't take away from it, but I just won't do quarter scale because it doesn't fit the scheme of what I'm trying to accomplish with my displays. I'm strictly, either I stay in the realm of either getting a quarter scale statues, or 1/6 scale figures. The diorama base, and I have to do it basically within the realm of what I'm going for, and also what makes sense to me. To have, and the biggest thing is it's just way too many Mandos. They're releasing this, and then also I guess we're going to get soon. I guess supposedly we're going to get the 1/6 scale chrome version soon with the head sculpt, with the Pedro Pascal head sculpt. Again, is the quarter scale for me is just not a game that I'm willing to jump into right now. Because again, I mean, if you're releasing this figure and, it's limited to only certain figures within the IP, it just doesn't make sense. Whereas I have more of a draw to tell a story with 1/6 scale figures. But at the same time, for people who are getting this figure, my hat's off to you. Good luck. I'm glad you're getting it. Do your thing, but it's just not for me. It's a beautiful figure. It looks great, but the spacing and for what I need, what I want, it's just not going to work. So,
yeah.
Nope.
I get what you mean. Yeah, it's a cool piece, but I totally get what you mean. So, Dante, what do you think? Are you a big quarter scale figure or statue guy?
I like statues. I'm gonna start buying one. Actually, I'm gonna get one statue, one Prime One Studio, because my friend Easy and then another person I just met was brainwashing me hardcore.
Nah, I would never. Is the Heath Ledger, right? Heath Ledger.
Yeah, the Heath Ledger one. So I'm gonna get that one. Believe it or not, I'm gonna get this one because I love Mandalorian, and I just have a feeling that we're gonna see more quarter scale figures coming. And a good example is we got this one. We got a bunch of Spider-Mans, 1 quarter scales. We're gonna get the Batman. Most likely, we're gonna get a Joker. I'm hoping because it will make sense. I'm very happy with this, to be honest with you. I think this one has a really solid presence. That base is beautiful, and I can see what they're doing with this type of high bases, right? They want to kind of like get closer to 1/3. I know it's still a few inches apart, but they're trying, and I'm happy with this. Look what happened with Vader, like the one quarter scale Vader with the unmasked head sculpt. That was a pretty good one as well, and I kind of regret not getting that one. Look what Mike has behind him, the Boba Fett one quarter scale. That looks amazing too. So I think this is a good piece. Obviously, if you have the budget, if you have the space, and you want to get this one, by all means, you can. Me personally, I'm gonna get, as I mentioned it many times in my channel and yours channel, I'm gonna get every Mandalorian figure because I love the show and I just have some type of attachment to it. Because again, I'm an old fella, and I like the fact that this show helped Star Wars to be back on track again. So
Yeah.
definitely getting this one.
Okay. So, Mike, what about you? Because I know that you are a statue collector. I think you do some Hot Toys too. So, what do you think about quarter scale Mando? Is this something you would pick up? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, this is actually something I've had on PO, I think, since early in the beginning when it was available. But at that point, I was pretty much picking up every single Mando. It was Mando Mania, and the hype was huge. And now, like a year later, it's becoming available. And I think to myself, what kind of Mandos have I acquired in the last 12 months? And Iron Studios Mando, custom Mando, Mando Hot Toys, almost every single 1/6 version. And I thought to myself, am I going to keep this one? And so far, I think I am. I'm going to let this come in. And part of the reason is because I love the quarter scale Boba Fett. I love, as Dante was saying, the quarter scale unmasked Vader. That's one of my favorite Vaders, regardless of whether it's a statue or a figure. It's beautiful, and the presence is amazing. The thing that strikes me about this Mando versus like the Iron Studios or even the Sideshow is the base is so dynamic. There's just a lot going on. And for some people, that might be too busy. But for me, I kind of like the different like remnants, like IG and the symbol and the Mando helmet. And if you look at the Batman that was just up for PO, they're doing something similar with the base, trying to tie in lots of different characters. So I'm kind of looking forward to this one. And again, similar to Dante, I'm getting every Mando, and then if I keep it for a while and I want to get rid of it or sell it and pass it on, then I will.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Reasonable. Optical. What do you think? Quarter scale Mando. It's finally out.
I've been waiting for this. So
You have quarter scale Spider-Man. You're a quarter scale man now.
I'm a quarter scale man now. I kind of wanted to change the title of my channel to
Quarter scale optical 20.
I'm gonna be like, instead of Lyle's 1/6 scale man, quarter scale man. 20.
Ooh. Just put a 20 in there. You're good.
Yeah,
Quarter scale man 20.
20, yeah. No, but I have a newfound respect for quarter scale after getting that Spider-Man.
Mhm.
I do. I'm gonna wait out on this. I mean, it looks great. It looks great. I mean, quarter scale just has a big presence on it. It looks great. I like the base. I would say the base is the most impressive thing about these quarter scales because it gets you closer to statues. And unlike statues, you can actually use them for something else. Like statue, you just got to put the statue there and then that's gone. Here, you can use it for your 6 scale if you want to. If you want to do some poses. But I'll wait. Like historically, this quarter scale tends to go down in price. And if it reaches that Spider-Man level that I was able to acquire, then I'll pick this up. But at this current state, I'm not rushing to pick this up. But it looks great. Looks great.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think it really does look great. The base is really incredible, and like you guys have already, declared here that they're really trying to get closer to like the Prime 1 type situation or some of the Queen Studios bases that are a little more dynamic and a little more like exciting. So Hot Toys is really trying to do that with their bases compared to like their quarter scale Joker, which had a little bit, had like Why So Serious and some stuff on it, but nothing crazy like this, right? This is more diorama type base. And I think this is a really good step for them. This figure does look really good. I mean, it essentially is exactly like we expected. It's just the regular Mando bumped up to quarter scale. Doesn't look like there's any real changes or adjustments. This is season 1, so I guess they decided not to do the Chrome version. So that would have been something I think people would have been a little more excited for. It's a really good looking figure, and like I said, the base looks great. So I'm happy for people who are gonna get this. I mean, like Lael said though, I think the interesting discussion is like how many people are actually into quarter scale, because I think Hot Toys continues to make them every now and then, but it's not something they continually pump out, probably because the market's maybe not just quite there as much as it is with 1/6. And like Lael said, it just doesn't fit in with a lot of other people's collection because there's no other Mando quarter scale figures to put it with, right? Unless you're getting like some kind of statue, maybe by another company, you could put it with that. But otherwise, yeah, it's not going to fit with anything else. But it certainly is a presence stealer. I think we might have a slight echo. You guys hearing that?
Is that me?
Might be you, Leo. I'm not sure, but yeah, there you go.
Chances are it's always me.
Okay, there you go. Now, yeah, a little bit I still hear, but it's not bad. It's fine. But so yeah, I think this figure looks great, and I really do think the base looks great, and the fact that you can pose it, it does have that advantage over a statue, no doubt about it. I am still pretty much sticking with my Iron Studios. I still prefer it to this. I just like the walking pose that it has. Sure, you can do that with this one. It's funny, like I've seen a lot of walking poses for Mando, 6 scale, quarter scale, whatever. I don't think any of them have ever quite captured it the way a statue has, in my opinion. They look good, but there's like maybe a slight movement off. Something looks a little robotic. Like it's really, in my opinion, it's really hard to capture a natural walking pose and make it look legit. Others would disagree and say it's easy, but I see a lot of pictures of people posting them, and a lot of them just don't feel realistic to me. Like there's something off. The foot's not quite right. It looks a little bit off. So that's why I like the Iron Studios, where I know I can peg it in. It's going to look great. I don't have to worry about putting the foot right or turning the body or worried about the fabric. It's just, yeah, that's why I prefer that, but that's just me. So yeah, nonetheless, it's a great figure. But you know, I'm sure a lot of people are really going to be excited when they get it. But yeah, it's not quite for us. Mike, I'm glad you're getting it. Dante, you guys are really going to enjoy it. We're going to talk about Hawkeye.
Will, before you go,
yeah, go ahead.
Dylan just put a super chat, and I think he's right. I think I'll wait because after it released, wait for 2 months. They're going to announce the Chrome quarter scale with a head sculpt. So by that time,
quarter scale with that sculpt, yeah.
In February, there's going to be a new quarter scale with the head sculpt Chrome version. So this version would be like $350. So that's when I'm going to get it.
Right. And
that's Armando again. This time in a bigger scale.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of my thing with it. Like it's, you know, a lot of these quarter scales do tend to go down in price. I mean, look what happened with Spider-Man, right? With Toys Wonderland with the deal you got optical. But yeah, I mean, these quarter scales, they do sit for a while. Even the Joker one sat for a while. So, you know, and then Queen Studios came out, and then J&D, and they're third scale. I get that. But at the same time, you know, these other Heath Ledgers came out that were just superior. Not saying that's going to happen with Mando because no one else can make Star Wars stuff, but because Sideshow's all over that. But nonetheless, Bob Dylan, thanks so much for the super chat. I think you did crack the code. It really does mean a lot. We're all about to get Beskar Mando 2.0 in quarter scale this time. So, guys, let's share our next topic here. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, there we go. And I'll hide the sidebar in a sec once we get into it. But I want to talk about the first 3 episodes of Hawkeye briefly. So, Optical, have you seen them all?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So everyone on the panel's seen it. Okay, perfect. So yeah, what we're gonna do is just talk about our thoughts overall in the first 3 episodes, where you know, how we feel about it so far. We could talk about where we think it's going if we want to, but overall, I think just what we feel about it, and you know, whether it met our expectations so far or not. So Leo, I know you're really excited about this show, like most of us here. What are your thoughts on the first 3?
Loved it. Loved each episode. You know, if anyone's basically familiar with Matt Fraction's run, then you'll know that they're taking elements, you know, strong elements from the book itself. But again, you don't have to necessarily be a comic book fan to really enjoy these, you know, first 3 episodes. I think they're coming out, you know, smoking and swinging. The first episode was entertaining. The second episode was entertaining. The third one, it was just the cream of the crop because it had so many Easter eggs, possible reveals. We just have to actually see what's going to happen Wednesday. But I'm excited. I am super excited about this. I cannot wait until Hot Toys decides to release both these figures because I will have them. This I can say, I'm really picky about certain figures, but when it comes to these 2, I mean, because like I said, I mean, Hawkeye has always been one of my favorite figures, considering the simple fact he is one of the original OGs from the Avengers lineup. It just makes sense. Kate Bishop, up and coming, you know, that run on with Matt was incredible. And I just like the banter back and forth. I like the chemistry between them. Although it was like a lot of complaints in the very beginning. They were like, you know what, the first 2 episodes were nothing about Hawkeye, more about Kate Bishop. It was supposed to be. Honestly, it was supposed to be based on what they're trying to develop with it. And we have 3 episodes left. We will see Elena. So you can bet on that. I love Echo. I love her introduction, and I love the twist. I love because the simple fact that they've actually gone ahead and got an actress who is, actually, deaf. And on top of that, she does have a bit of a handicap with her right leg is, half of it has been amputated because, when she was young. And but she's so good at that character. She brings such an element. And I like that, we're getting that. And like I said, I don't want to spoil it. If you want to listen to the spoiler talk, that'd be tomorrow. But you know what I mean? Yeah, I like the simple fact that the direction that they're taking with these characters, man. I'm super excited. Lucky, you got Lucky the dog there. I'm so
Hell
happy.
yeah, he needs to be an accessory.
He does need to be accessory because I love Lucky, bro. But yeah, I'm so happy about this show, bro, and it came at the right time. It's the holiday season. It just feels good. The soundtrack's on point. Just everything. It's like they came out swinging with this. The way they've actually done these first 3 episodes is sort of like what I wanted to actually see happen in Loki. What I wanted to kind of see happen with, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What I wanted to see happen with, I understood with Wanda and the WandaVision. I could understand why they chose to go that route, but the way they did with these first 3 episodes were incredible, and I love them, man. And the simple fact, like Bill said, the Tracksuit Mafia on point. You know what I mean? Like straight up on point and straight from the books. So yeah, man, I'm certainly excited about this, man. Like I just can't wait to see how it evolves and where it's going to actually go from here. But I just think that they came out swinging with the first 3 episodes, and there's nowhere else they can go but up. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm going to jump around a little bit in the panel. So Optical, what do you think about the first 3?
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
This is like typical Marvel, in my opinion, which is great, which is good, right? I think I talked about in Iron Logan. This is the way to hand off a character if they're ever, gonna do this. Because and they're doing it with an established actress, basically. Haley is not something new that we haven't.
No, she's not like a no-name actress. No.
Right, she's not no name. She's really good at what she does, and they could have just thrown her in there, do a few flashbacks. But this is a good handoff if they're ever gonna do one. And it's not too complicated. It's Christmas season. They put you in there. You don't need to decipher any codes, anything like that. Like I felt like in Loki, I'm trying to, watch, I don't know, like a detective movie or something. They have to track back what's going on. This is pretty simple. Like, all right, this is how it is. And they flash back you to the first Avengers 2012. You saw some nostalgia there, and then they move on. It's kind of funny. It has some action. So, perfect recipe for Marvel, I would say, for the holiday season. Nothing, like it's not like a Dark Knight-esque. I don't think that's what they're going for.
No.
But it's something fun, but at the same time, it's moving you forward. Like it's progressing, and then the handoff, I think, is going to be great. Once this is all said and done, it'll be like a smoothless, like a smooth transition, like Falcon. So.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think so too. They're really doing a good transition to make it so Hawkeye is going to be done. I think what happens is he retires at the end of his show. Justin and I talked about this. I think he does retire at the end of the show. I think Kate Bishop is eventually going to be the new Hawkeye, so to speak. She's her own, but like you said, it's a smooth transition with that. So, Mike, I know you finished the 3rd episode tonight. So, how are you feeling about this show so far? 3 episodes in, we got 3 more.
Yeah, I just finished it about 5 minutes before coming on the stream, and I've liked them all. This 3rd episode I really enjoyed. The first 2 I watched all 3 with my wife, and the first 2 she wasn't quite into it. She was a little bored, and I can kind of see that. But this 3rd one had her attention the whole time, and so I think the pace of the show picked up a little bit, and I really appreciated that. Did you guys feel the same way about that 3rd episode?
Yeah, it's interesting.
I loved
I've
it.
liked all 3 of them so far.
Yeah,
I mean,
I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that I didn't like the first 2. I loved it. There's something about this 3rd episode. Maybe it's because it's so fresh in my mind, but it just felt like the pacing was perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about the comics, but so I'm coming completely clean slate. and I really like what they're doing. Obviously, I think I see where it's going, and we definitely need that dog in 6 scale. That
We
is
do.
so good.
And the
That's so
pizza. We
great.
need the pizza.
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
how
the pizza.
Yeah, because we've seen when Hot Toys does dogs, and
That's true. They did the dog
Yeah.
from Back to the Future. So
they did Einstein. It wasn't
I
too-
mean, they're no Star Race optical with their horses. I mean,
Well,
it's
I don't understand why they don't just give it like, come on, man. Like, you don't have to go sculpt it. You can give us some rooted with a puppy. Come
could
on,
be like
man.
it could be worse. Will it could be Ghost of Tsushima? That fox.
yeah, the fox.
fox.
That fox is an atrocity. I can't look at it. It gives me nightmares. So Mike, yeah, you said you're liking it overall. You're enjoying it. So, yeah, I kind of feel the same way as you guys. I'll go to Dante in a sec, but basically, like, I really like the show so far. I think it's coming at the right time. It's a real feel good kind of, great drama with good characters. Only one thing I'm a little worried about with it is like optical, and I've talked about this before. Some of Marvel's content can be a little disposable. Like you really enjoy it at the time and then you never go watch it again, right? I think this is kind of that type of show. I think this is the type of show where you watch all 6 episodes, you're like, yeah, that was a really good time, and then you never think about it again. Like, so that's what I'm kind of worried about. It doesn't have quite the longevity, but it's not a big deal because we live in the moment, right? We live in the moment. We enjoy it for now. It's great. It's really fun and energetic. The characters have a good dynamic. It's a good Christmas story. It fits the theme of the holiday season. That's just the only thing I'm worried about. I don't necessarily think it's top tier Marvel or anything, but I think it's really good. Like I told Justin, I would give it like an 8.5 so far. Like I really like it. It's great. And it's just a well-rounded show. But Dante, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everyone. I think this show is actually pretty good. Very interesting, especially that opening scene on the first episode. That was sick. I mean, I love that the visuals, right? How for the perspective of the little girl, watching what everything's happening. I love this part as well. That was actually pretty funny when he died, right?
Yeah.
I like the chemistry between the Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. I think they have a really good chemistry. I can understand at the beginning how this was a bit different, right? Because technically, Kate Bishop admired him, right, for what he did. So there's a lot of things I wanna like know, like when if she ever find out that he's Ronin, because nobody knows that he was Ronin, right? And I mean, without spoiling the what happened in episode 3, but I kind of like the parallel they did when they asked him who killed Ronin, and then he answered. I don't want to say what he said, but I kind of like that. If you think about it, technically that's exactly what happened, right? I love the show. I agree with you, Will, that this is gonna be those shows that you're gonna watch it once and then that's it. Somebody mentioned on the chat about Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier. One show I'm gonna probably rewatch again is Loki. I really enjoyed that show so
I'm with
much.
you too. It's kind of a little bit divisive though. Yeah.
I will definitely rewatch that one. I don't think I'm gonna rewatch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't think I'm gonna. Same with this one. Once 7 episodes is done, that's it. Unless the new show gives something related to any of those shows, like a hint or something that you may wanna go back and kind of rewatching to make sure that that's what happened. But other than that, I think this is just one time and that's it.
Yeah, and I think, and that's not like Dante. I'm totally with you. It's not taking anything away from the show. It's great, and I think it's very timely. It works that it's coming out right around Christmas time, the holiday season. I think they really timed that well. They built it all up. It feels like a Christmas movie, right? And that's what they really played off of it. And I think that it works really well in the show's favor. So I think a big part of it is the atmosphere and just the tone of the whole show. It really works well in combination with the characters. And there's so many fun scenes, like this Renaissance one, and then with the dog, eating the pizza, and and the one with her and shooting the bell in the beginning. It all feels very Christmassy, right? So I think that really is working well in its favor. But yeah, there's no spoilers like you guys talked about. But there's some things they tease in episode 3 big time. Some characters, some quarter scale characters maybe. So to put it lightly, oversized figure characters. Let's just put it that way. And there's some other stuff going on that Leo I know probably knows more about than we do just because the comic roots. But it's been a really good show so far. Guys, with that said though, I want to, jump to our next one here because I want to stop sharing for a sec because this is something that I think leads us into our next topic pretty well. But Justin is rolling over in the chat right now. Do you prefer because we always get philosophical on this show, right? And I got a lot of philosophical topics for us as always. I think this one can definitely be a good one that, I think a lot of people are interested in too, because they're having the same conversation maybe when they're deciding which, figures or collectibles to buy. I'm going to ask each of you, do you prefer quarter scale statues or figures, and why? Because I think obviously there are key differences, not just the price, but what you can do with them, the presence of them on your shelf. So overall, I'll start with you, Mike. Quarter scale statues or figures? Is it case by case, or do you generally have a preference?
So okay, I mean, if you put it this way, there's not many quarter scale figures. Hot Toys makes, like we talked about before, the Vader, the Boba Fett, which is right behind me. One thing I really like about quarter scale figures is that they're lightweight. So, the Queen Studios Thanos quarter scale, that thing is what, like 35 kilograms or something like that. It's heavy, but so you if you don't have extremely sturdy shelves, or if you're trying to put these on top of detofs, or if you're using IKEA furniture, it may not hold up that well, especially as these things are getting heavier, more robust, and with more presence. Spider-Man actually just got this one with a bunch of points, and that should be coming in soon. But I'm liking it because okay, you can pose it, it's lightweight, you can place it anywhere, you can do different things. That being said, I suck at posing, and so that's why I watch you guys, and I watch your posing sessions, and I learn, and I'm trying to get better, and it's actually kind of fun. But I guess if you were to make me choose, okay, you can never have one or the other, I'd probably have to go with quarter scale statues, just because okay, a lot of us are super busy, a lot of us don't have time to kind of sit and make it perfect. With a statue, you take it out of the box, you peg it all together, you put it on your desk or your shelf, and you're done. And then you figure out your lighting. And the presence is outstanding. I mean, think about if you were going to compare like that quarter scale Sauron to a quarter scale figure. I don't think you can really get the detail, the quality, the different types of, materials. So I feel like I'm walking around in circles here, but
No, you're not.
I love this Boba Fett. I think this Boba Fett's fantastic. I may even say that quarter scale Hot Toys Vader unmasked is my favorite Vader quarter scale, because Mythos is 5th scale. But
yeah,
and I don't know, and that could be blasphemy to some people, but some people do mixed media only, some people do fully sculpted only. I kind of just do whatever I think is beautiful and looks nice in the collection, and what makes me happy. So when it comes down to it, I don't have a preference. Like if Hot Toys, if this Mando comes out, and I already said I'm getting it, if it's terrible, I'll sell it. But if they like the Batman, I'm gonna get that too, and it looks great. But I'm also getting the J&D. So I don't know, man. I'd say keep putting out more stuff so that we can at least choose. Right. And then, if you're gung-ho one way or the other, that's great. I support you. But I'm kind of just somewhere in the middle, and I'll get something if it's awesome, and I'll put minimal effort into, posing it. But just from a sheer presence, I mean, quarter scale statues, man, you could do more dynamic stuff. You can do whatever, they could do so much more, because you're not trying to fix it in a position. It is sculpted into a position. So I'm open to comments or criticism, whatever you guys think.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting take for sure. I think most of us would probably agree with that. It's a very moderate, fair take. So what do you think, Dante, about this? Quarter scale statues or figures? What's your preference? Overall thoughts on it?
So the way I see this is two ways, right? When quarter scales are really good figures. I mean, personally, I like them. You can pose them. You can do pretty much anything you want, similar to 1/6 scale figure, right? Now, we need to be fair in comparing apples to apples, because when you're comparing, for example, one quarter scale figure, which is a figure you can articulate, you can do poses, and a statue, you compare it to different things, right? A statue is one good quality piece with a specific pose, which is badass as well, right? Price is over here, quarter scale is over here, the price, right? So it all comes to budget. If you like, one quarter scale statues, or if you like one quarter scale figures, there's really not right or wrong answer on this one, right? I mean, if you collect those, it's good. If you don't, it's also good. Me personally, I love quarter scales simply because you can pose them, you can do different things. But I also like quarter scale statues because they look amazing too. right? Is the quality is, I think, one step up compared to 1/6 scale. I'm sorry, 1/4 scale. So that's kind of, is really difficult to say which one is better or which one do you prefer. It all comes to preference, all comes to space. We mentioned this, behind the scenes when we were talking about the 1/4 scales, like the Vader and the Boba Fett that Mike has, and the bunch that are gonna come very soon, and eventually more. I think we're gonna start seeing a different market coming in the future. So whatever your preferences are, they're good.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, optical. What's your general thoughts on this quarter scale figures versus statues?
Oh man, we just had this conversation I think last night.
I know.
Yeah. But here it is. So and like Dante says, there's a lot of factors in here. I will pretend that they're both the same price, right? Because that matters. Like price matters. Let's pretend that Mando is $600. I don't know how much is it. Is it 600? Maybe.
650.
Let's
plus
say
shipping and all
650,
that?
and then the Iron Studio is 650. Now, the biggest plus of a quarter scale figure is that you can post them. How many 1/6 collector do you know posts their 1/6 figure? Not a whole lot, right? If they don't post their 1/6 figure, what makes you think they're going to post their quarter scale figure? I mean, I have a quarter scale figure, I barely post it. And in a photography standpoint, I don't want to take it out because that means I need a bigger background. That means I need to step away just to capture this entire thing. It's so much easier to take a picture of a smaller figure in a photography standpoint. Now, why are you getting quarter scale? Because you like the presence, because it's big. It has some scale to it. If we are talking about pure display, in my opinion, again, I have both, and I feel like they have their own merit. My biggest point is like when I took that Spider-Man, I want the base. I want to use that base to take a picture for my 1/6 scale. I haven't done that. Why? Because it's such an inconvenience to lift it up and take out all these wires and all that stuff. Now in a statue, you don't have to worry about that. You take it out, you admire it, you put it there, and you leave it, in a pose like this. Can that Spider-Man do this pose?
No.
Maybe. Hey, let's say maybe.
For like 10 minutes.
Or maybe forever. But then again, it's like a statue. You can't take out that pose anymore because once you do that, pants is gonna rip.
Right.
So now the articulation is gone. 'Cause let's be honest, like that's gonna rip. So now it with the same price, what does it come down to, right? Like you mentioned articulation. Do you actually pose your 1/6? If you don't, then most likely you're not gonna post your quarter scale. Because that Spider-Man, it's ratcheted. It could pose, but it's such a pain. I'd rather post my 1/6 if I'm in that fix where it's like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna take this out. So when it comes down to it, with the same price, I would select the statue because yes, this might have more realism to it. Yes, it's cloth because actually, Mike and Will, you can attest to it. Most statue collectors does not like they like sculpted, right? Like more than soft goods because they feel like we're getting cheated if it's soft goods. It's like, dude, I want you to sculpt this. Don't be cheating me with this fabric thing. So as far as feel, anyone who has statue, like the weight, it's cold. You put it out there, it feels more premium. Maybe even if it's not. One advantage of 1/6 scale is the face because they capture the face so much. But it's something like Mando or Spider-Man, which it doesn't have a face. I think I'll go with statue. It has more premium feel to me.
Yeah.
That takes nothing away from this Hot Toys. I own one. I want to own more. But if I only have if somebody gives me money and say choose one, I'll choose statue.
Right. And optical, what if, you're factoring into the equation that the statue is more expensive? Does that change your opinion? Like say, for example, I think I paid $850 shipped for my Iron Studios Mando, right? Yeah. So the Hot Toys is probably $700 shipped, maybe more, because it's $650 plus shipping and tax. So you're looking at probably like $715. So $150 more. Would you take the Iron Studios or would you take the Hot Toys?
I would wait for Hot Toys to. Here's the thing: Iron Studios would always sell out. I think it's already sold out.
Yeah, it's gone. It's sold out really quickly because they only made like 800 or something.
Most statues sell out, and Hot Toys doesn't. Now, price is always a factor for me. Like in anything that I buy, AirPods, statues, Hot Toys, whatever the case is, it's always a. If it's lower, then yes, because now you're splitting hairs in here, so the money would be a factor. It's kind of like, hey, if it's 200 more, I'll get the quarter scale. I would live without having that premium feel that I just talked about. If it's 200 less, then Iron Studio. One thing that kills me with statue is the shipping. because the shipping itself feels like you're paying a hot toy. Like the
Right.
shipping is $250, and you feel like I can get IG-11 just to transport this thing to my home. So that's one thing that kills me. But when what I said earlier, granting the price is the same coming to my home. But since it's not, like the reality is, I could wait for this quarter scale, hit 400-500 mark, and I can pick it up. So that's where kind of like the price kicks in. But purely aesthetics, I'll pick statue any day.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, even with this Mando, for example, like the cape is sculpted, everything's sculpted on this statue, right? So it really just depends on what you're valuing there. For me, that doesn't really factor into my decision that much. Would have been nice if they use a fabric cape, sure, but at the same time, it doesn't really bother me. I think it really suits the piece really well. And I think, again, this walking pose to me is very natural. I like how the base looks. Is the Hot Toys base probably a little bit better? Sure, but I don't have to pose it. I don't have to worry about moving a 1/4 figure around, getting him balanced, putting everything right. I just peg it in. It's good to go. So for me, I prefer this. And this Mudhorn logo down in the bottom is sick. That's great. So, I mean, there's just a lot there I think that really is valuable. But the quarter scale Mando is incredible, no doubt about it. So, Leo, how do you feel about this in general? Like, for example, if Hot Toys made a quarter scale Revan, would you go back and get that too, or would you stick with the XM?
I would stick with the XM. And again, look, when you start and for anyone who's basically a 1/6 scale collector, this is just basically an oversized 1/6 scale or oversized articulate figure. You know what I mean? If I have that same figure in 1/6 scale, why do I want it in quarter scale? Like, honestly, I want something different. I want something that's going to give me more of an element, because basically what you're paying for when it comes to that quarter scale figure is the base. That figure you already have. If you have it in 1/6 scale, you already have that figure. You just have it in a bigger scale. I don't really need to do that. Now, when it comes to statues versus, a quarter scale statue versus a quarter scale figure, I'm looking at, again, longevity. The material in that figure, like for instance, and here's the thing, and I do want to preface this by saying it's not to knock anybody who have quarter scale figures, because they're beautiful figures, but I'm looking long term for me. On top of that, I'm looking at companionship. Like these, with my statues, pretty much I can get companion, pieces to go next to those statues and it will look well. You know what I mean? Like one of the most beautiful figures quarter scale statues that I have right now is at a size Ventress. One of the most beautiful statues you will ever see. I got that Mythos Maul to pose next to it, and they both look fabulous. Okay, so if it same goes for Batman, Barbara Gordon, Boy Wonder, like all of them, I basically have posed together. They look great in quarter scale, and on top of that, the diorama bases are just as much characters as well. They're just as much a character as the figure. Whereas if I'm looking at quarter scales, I'm looking over time. Will the material in the tailoring will it decay? Am I running the risk of certain parts having to interchange certain parts over time? Am I looking at those particular things? That's what I have to keep in mind. Like, is it worth it for me? Longevity versus common sense for me, just for me, and I'm just speaking for me, would be to lean more towards statues, because I'm getting more out of it. I'm getting more presence. I'm getting something that will stand the test of time, as long as nobody touches this son of a bitch. If they come down here trying to touch my shit,
they're kicked out forever at that point.
Exactly. As long as you don't come down here, which nobody does. But I mean, again, it's all about presence, and I love the presence that I get out of my statues. Again, if I wanted an articulate figure, I'm sticking to my 1/6 scale, because like Optical said, if you're a photographer and you're taking pictures, you're not going to be able to scale that thing out. Like, it's too big. Like, it's way too big. You have to probably build something totally. Now, mind you, I have 2 art boxes that I built that I actually take pictures in. One for quarter scale statues, one for 1/6. I did that because I knew that, but at the same time, again, I don't need to actually get a quarter scale statue. It's just not something that not statue, but a figure, because I don't necessarily need it. You know what I mean? It's if I already have a 1/6 scale figure, whereas the statues, I'm getting presence, I'm getting longevity, I'm getting certain attention to detail that quarter scale figure will not capture. You know what I mean? And like Mike said, you know what I mean? Being able to take it outside the box and just put it up and look at it. Hell, I'm a poser, but half the time certain figures I don't like to pose. You know, case in point, Heavy Mando, I hated trying to pose that son bitch because it was too big, too bulky. The fat suit was restraining, so I couldn't really do too much. I did find that my Mandos, both my 1/6 scale Mandos, once you take them out of the box, and if you have them out the box for a certain amount of time, they loosen up. It loosens up the figure, and you can pose it a certain way. You know, quarter scale, again, I'm not taking away from the simple fact that the figure is amazing. It's decent. I'm not taking away from that, but it's not something that I necessarily need right now. That versus a quarter scale statue, I'm going to lean towards the quarter scale statue because it's giving me the presence that I need. And that base is something to look at, and I can get the quality that I want. Long term.
Yeah. And Leo, it's so funny because all I had to do was dangle a little bait out there for Justin. He's like a fish. I just dangle a little bit on the string, and here he comes. Because I knew this quarter scale statue of figures topic would get him. He was in the chat. I was like, he's gonna want to jump in, and that's what he did. So he is. Justin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Will.
Yes, absolutely. So Justin, present your case to the jury.
Okay. I'll present my case. I wasn't going to stream today, and Will messaged me this morning, and he was like, "You going to come on?" I was like, "Possibly."
Yeah, I was like, "He's not."
I was recording stuff. I had this stream going in the background. I was like, "Quarter scale figures are getting a bad rap. You know, let me come in and just pose a different argument, a different thought process. Everything that you all have said, I understand about quarter scale statues versus figures, but how long is a piece of string? Could you not then say all of those same things about 1/6 scale statues? The poses are better. They are fully sculpted. The materials are usually better. It's the exact same argument that we've just had about quarter scale. So why collect 1/6 scale when it's literally the exact same argument? They're just a little bit smaller. That's the only difference. It's a little bit smaller.
A lot smaller. Because on photography, like a photography standpoint, quarter scale is just a no-go.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah,
quarter
right.
scale is a pain in the ass, but
yeah, so like
obviously-
one statue, like 1/6 scales, I think is perfect. Actually, it's still a little bigger, like those toy
a little
photographers.
bit big.
Yeah, so,
For a figure, it's good. Yeah.
yeah, for figure, it's good. Like photography wise, like quarter scale, I tried. I mean, I need like a massive back.
And really, real quick though, when you look at 1/6 scale versus 1/6 scale statues, I mean that's fine and dandy. But I'm talking about 1/6 scale figures versus quarter scale figures articulation. I'm getting more variety out of 1/6 scale because you're getting companion pieces. You're getting a whole lot more that you would have, and you can actually put them up against different pieces, mixed media when it comes to third scale figures, stuff like that. Whereas with quarter scale, yeah, and again, I'm not taking away from the simple fact that they're amazing pieces because they are. But the thing is, they're going to make Mando, so they'll make Mando. They will not make a quarter scale Moff Gideon. They will not make a quarter scale Bo-Katan.
No.
They will not make a quarter scale Ahsoka. Unless that IP is popular and hitting and knocking, right now they're leaning more so on Mando. So that's the only figure that we're gonna, or quarter scale figure that we're gonna get, just like Spider-Man. We've gotten no other Marvel quarter scale figure. But so far, what? Spider-Man, am I guessing right
And
now?
Iron Man Mark III.
And Iron Man Mark,
a bunch of
exactly.
Iron Man
And
42.
Iron Man.
Iron Man and
Which-
Spider-Man. That's
exactly,
it,
which we
Iron Man
always
and
get.
Spider-Man.
Like if they
Yeah.
gave us pretty much, if they gave more variety in quarter scale, then maybe that would be something that you can lean into and say, all right, cool, that's decent. But then you have to also figure in for a lot of people, okay, price does play a factor because you can't just keep buying a whole bunch of them. But I mean, again, it would be an argument less. You can tame the argument, I think, because you're getting more variety. Whereas right now, all they're making is just the Mando. So, I mean, that's my only thing.
I just want to say something. So go ahead, Justin.
Sure.
Sorry.
No. I want to hear what you have to say on it.
Oh, thanks. No. What I was about to say is that what I noticed, right, is that yes, we can argue about what's better, quarter scale figures or one quarter scale statues. Of course, price, is a big factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's denying the quality of both. I mean, statues is really, you get what you pay, right? Really good quality. Same thing with Hot Toys. You're paying exactly what what you're getting. Now I can see that in the near future we're gonna start seeing pieces, more one quarter scale figures coming, and I think the way they're doing it is kind of like exclusive. And let me kind of explain what I mean by exclusive. They're choosing which figures to get, right? They're not getting everything one quarter scale because, right now there is really not a lot of market for it. But this can change. This can change. I noticed it. The other day. I mean, Justin put a video about the one quarter scale Spider-Mans, a bunch of them. Like this, like 2, 3. Then we have Batman one quarter scale, which is a 2.0 version with a badass base. We got the Boba Fett, we got the Darth Vader one, which I kind of regret not getting. Then we're gonna get Mando. Yeah, no doubt they're gonna do another Mando. No, it is really good. It is really good. So no doubt they're gonna make more one quarter scale figures, right? So I think we just gonna, if you can afford it, again, all comes to your wallet. If you can afford it, go for it. If you can't, this is something that you don't like or you don't prefer because it's pricey, it's fine too.
We all have preferences, right? At the end of the day, we all love what we love. For bigger stuff, like Prime 1/3 scale, for instance, like Shazam is a line of one. There's just one Shazam.
Right.
That's it. Same thing with the Batman. I don't want to attack you, Leia. I love you. You know that. The Batman is a line of one.
No, attack
Just
him.
The Batman. That's it.
No,
Same thing with with Aquaman. It's just a line of one. So statues also kind of, there's just the one and done for those hit licenses. So I think for the bigger stuff, it's excused. But for 6 scale, you're absolutely right. You have to, and Hot Toys never usually does it, you have to deliver a line. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
You're right.
But where it comes down to me for quarter scale is, and I said this in my Queen Studios Joker review. I know he's 3rd scale, but same sort of thing.
Yeah.
The factor for me is always realism, right? And I understand people prefer sculpted stuff on statues because, like y'all were saying, don't rip me off. Sculpt the damn thing. Do it right. But I prefer the fabric because I want it to be as close to the screen used suit as possible. And I guess that just comes from my collecting, my journey. That's why I started collecting, is because I'm a prop lover. I'm a suit lover.
Yeah.
So I want to collect as realistic as we can get. I don't know why I picked this up. It's horrible. As realistic as we can get.
Good example.
Therefore, I want fabric. And I understand. The posing's not for everyone, specifically quarter scale. It's a pain in the ass sometimes. But you can do it. That Iron Studios walking pose, I promise you, Will. I promise you. You can do a walking pose.
I want to see you do it, Justin. Will. Show me when you get yours. I want to see it.
I will do a walking pose for you, Will, and I will shout you out in the video. I say, Will, this walking pose is dedicated to you. This is for you, Will.
Where you disbelief.
Exactly.
I just want to say one little point. Poses, right? It's a pain in the butt posing one quarter scale figures because of the size, right? No doubt. But also, as I think Mike said it, right? And also Optical 20, you don't pose your figures like every 5 minutes, right? You do one pose, leave it in your shelf, and then wait another 2 months, 1 month, whatever, change poses. You can do the same thing with the one quarter scale. I mean, not necessarily you need to put one pose and leave it there forever, right? You can at one point, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do another pose. Yes, there's some limitations in terms of if you want to do something very dynamic, you can get a statue with Spider-Man in a super dynamic pose. It's going to stay like that forever. You don't have to worry about nothing. Don't worry about the suit. Don't worry about the articulation. It's perfect, right? With one quarter scales, yes, you need to play around a little bit. You need to make sure the suit is good. Nothing is, going in between the joints and all those things. So it's an extra care factor, I think, when you have one quarter scale figures.
There's only one quarter. There's only one quarter scale figure I'd get. One.
Pennywise.
If they released it, there's only one. Nope. There's only one I would get if they released it, and that's a quarter scale. Nope, a quarter scale Wonder Woman. You give me that, and I'm good. Yeah. Give me a 1/4 scale quarter scale Gal Gadot, and I will do it straight up. Then
Batman.
There's going to be joints.
Give me that, and then I'm in. So
visible joints.
But see, no, honestly, that's what I'm talking about, though. If they give me something like that, then that pokes my interest. I guess, you know what? I guess what it boils down to is the simple fact that they're giving me quarter scale figures that are in the same. It's the same IP. It's the same things that we're seeing. Yeah. If they gave us something, if they produced a quarter scale figure that was totally different, that peg my interest, then I'll probably be like, okay, you see her? You see her?
She's rolling her eyes in the chat.
Yo, look at the face. Look at the face.
Yeah, she's rolling her eyes, bitch.
You can still take it back.
Yeah, sure, take it back. Take it back.
I can't. I already said it. It's too late.
Rewind the chat.
The one-to-one Wonder Woman, the lips do not open for anyone who wants to know.
Okay. Yes, you tell him, Mike.
I thought
Oh
it was
my god.
But all of this, I love this conversation, and I'm just thinking to myself, some people, everyone in the chat, or some people in the chat are saying, oh, 1/6 scale, quarter scale is too big, and I can only stay 1/6. I thought the same thing too, and now I have like 5 1-to-1 pieces, and I'm waiting for 3 more coming in. Granted, I have a lot more space than most people, but I'm looking right across at my 1-to-1 Queen Studio Gal Gadot bust, and I love
you
that
have
thing.
that.
It's fantastic. It
Son
is
of a-
fantastic.
Yeah, because Justin
Bitch.
reviewed that.
It's
Yeah, I remember
beautiful.
I did review
Yeah.
it, yeah.
You have that,
I watched
Mike?
that video, and then I had to get it, and
Send it to
I
Leo.
got one. It's so nice, but
Mike, this is the
Oh,
reason.
so you have it. You have it, Mike.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's,
Leo's gone. He disappeared, Mike. You broke his heart.
Mike's gonna be the
Sorry,
voice
Leo.
pretty soon. So yeah.
Right.
Well,
It's better than the
so-
Tauntaun. So,
well,
yeah,
okay,
better
and
than
the
that.
Tauntaun is right here.
Yeah, the
You have the
in front of me.
Tauntaun, Mike?
He has a tauntaun.
I do. So,
Oh my God, Mike.
my journey, my journey in collecting is kind of crazy. But the funny thing is, the bigger I've gone, I've come back to smaller 1/6 because you can only fit so many quarter scales. You can only fit so many 1-to-1s,
Yeah.
1-to-2, whatever. And so if you have space and you like variety, 1/6 is still a really safe thing. But I think the one thing I wanted to mention is it doesn't matter if it's a figure or a statue. If there's anyone in the chat or like that's watching this that is on the fence about getting a quarter scale, just do it if you have the means and you're not going to go broke, and and you have the
Just
space.
do it.
Seriously,
Nike.
because once you get that quarter scale, and I should say, if you have the means and you continue to have the means, because what will most likely happen is you will get your first quarter scale, and then you'll have 10 more, by the end of the year. And I'm not trying to make anyone go broke here, but and some people like Lael, you might be totally different. Be like, it has to be a Gal Gadot, and perfect.
Or Pennywise.
Or
Pennywise quarter
yeah.
scale, yes, I'd be in. I'd be
Damn,
in.
Pennywise, man. I swear to
Oh
God,
my
I just
God.
want you to get it. So it can
You never have to hear
We
about
never
it again.
have to hear about it again.
Well,
yeah, just give it to
Dante,
I
as
just
long as
want,
Dante's
you
here,
know,
he's
I
gonna
want,
bring it
I want
up,
Howard
so.
Chan to deliver to you himself and be like, Will, here you go.
Well, Dante and I already promised. They said live stream happening no matter what time Pennywise drops. We're going live. We're
Man.
gonna celebrate.
Higher once he gets Pennywise. So.
So Major Brent Derlin, thanks so much. I'm going to keep the chat rolling, but great chat as always, gentlemen. I've been thinking about getting to quarter scale, and this discussion keeps convincing me, and then talking me out of convincing me. Then again, excited to see where it went. Thanks, Will. Thanks so much, dude. That's such a generous super chat. It really does mean a lot, guys. One
You're gonna
comment I
get
want
it,
to touch
Major
on real
Brent.
quick.
You're gonna get it. Let's be honest. You'll get it.
One topic I want to do before we move on to the next one is with this quarter scale thing we have going on. Oh, did I miss a super chat? Oh, brother cousins. Okay. Oh, I've been holding back on quarter scale, but it's getting harder. It is, whether it's a figure or a statue, it's getting more difficult. Guys, there's some comments I saw about this, and Optical, I know you and I have talked about this a lot, and I don't know if I talked to you about it, Justin, but Optical made the point about shipping charges, right? With quarter scale statues, generally, yes, they tend to be more expensive with shipping costs too.
2 boxes
So that's something
sometimes.
exactly like a Prime One, like Mike and I were talking about Sauron. That's 2 boxes. It's like $300 for shipping. I mean, it's like it's not cheap, right? But he's an abnormal
That
quarter
is
scale.
cheap shipping right now. 300
Justin
cheap for
disappeared.
quarter scale.
So
Justin dipped out.
yeah, he was like, I'm done. I made my point. I'm out. So the shipping costs. Oh, Justin's back now.
Sorry.
Justin did that.
I thought
Really,
you were-
shipping costs. I'm done.
There we
So how do you get? Does that factor into your decision? All the shipping costs. I know Optical. You've said it does. So I'll start with you. Like you said, it's like a hot toy most times. That kind of just sway you to not buy quarter scale statues.
For me,
Yeah, for you.
yes, that's why if you're on the fence about getting quarter scale, for those who hasn't, I think it's easier to buy a Hot Toys quarter scale than a statue. It's less of a risk because A, it's cheaper, and B, I think it's easier to sell. Like if you decided, hey, you know what, quarter scale's not for me. It's not heavy. It's still pretty big box, but it's not as tedious to sell as a statue because it's heavy. So
Usually
for those,
less fragile too, optically.
yeah, less fragile.
for
like
sure.
it's less complications. Like unlike a statue, so if it arrives broken to whatever that person is, you can't buy a part. Unlike a Hot Toys, and let's say that Mando and has a chipped armor, get it on eBay. Pretty sure there's some parts on Toy Anxiety or something.
Right.
But yeah, if you're on the fence, I would say dip into Hot Toys first, and then if you like it, maybe buy a sideshow because that's kind of like the gateway for quarter scale statues. They're cheap. They're pretty much like Hot Toys quarter scale, and see what you like, which one you like more. Because when you buy those things, I personally think you're buying them for presents, not for anything else. the mere size of this thing and decide whatever you like. But yeah, the price always factors to me. Like as far as like if I'm, especially if you're an undecided, because that Iron Studios is really $850, right? Like if you how much is that? $850.
It was $850 shipped, so
$850 shipped. Yeah, compared to this Hot Toys, which might be
it was like $715, maybe
$715.
$700.
So that's an extra 100 something. And if you're undecided, again, if you're undecided, that's much easier decision to make. Because imagine that 115, you can add a little bit and you can buy another 1/6 figure.
Yeah,
so
for sure. 150 is a lot.
Get out. If you don't like it, it's easier to get out of Hot Toys than a statue, for sure.
It is. I mean, I definitely myself, I mean, I've always said with statues, I think you got to be positive it's a long-term purchase. You don't want to be in the trading in and out of statue games. It's not as easy as Hot Toys. You get even a quarter scale Hot Toys, much easier to pack that thing up and sell it and ship it off than it is to say, like a third scale Bane or a Balder quarter scale or something, right? That would be a lot harder to ship off, and you'd be a lot more worried about breakage, things like that. So Justin, does that factor into it for you, just the stress or the things you have to deal with selling a statue? Is that just,
I've never sold a quarter scale figure or quarter scale statue, so I don't know.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I have sold 1/6 scale figures, so I guess figures are easy to pack up, less have to worry about. The one thing that worries me whenever I unpack a statue, and Prime 1 is usually really good with it because they'll include the instruction sheet, and on the other side, it shows you how to pack it back up, how it came in the box, which I love.
Yeah.
But some companies don't do that. And there's like little bits of foam everywhere, like my Queen Studios Joker and Batman. I have no idea how that guy knew how to repack it when I bought it off him. But I would not be able to recreate what he did for me if I was to sell them. So yes, it does worry me. Shipping within Australia is quite pricey. So I don't know how much more it would be to ship a statue versus a figure. I mean, y'all, I think, pay a couple of $100s to get them from Japan to wherever y'all are in the US from Prime 1 or whatever it is, and that's regular post. It cost me almost $500 to ship within my own country.
Wow.
So it's like I always struggle with these price debates because Australia is just inherently so expensive.
Yeah.
It's just so expensive.
It sounds awful there.
It's truly horrendous when it comes to buying
Justin.
things.
That's it.
Right?
That's all.
Yeah, just move everything.
Bring all the figures, just ship them all out.
Bring
ship
them all
on a boat.
Over, no problem. Yeah, no. But it is something that I do see people talk about. Quarter scale figures are usually cheaper than quarter scale statues, but then we start getting back into the whole debate of the realism, the paint applications, the weight, the size, the presence. It's just a personal thing. If you prefer to be able to change stuff around, like maybe you want Mando holding his gun one time, or maybe you want him holding the big gun another time, or maybe you want Grogu looking this way or looking that way. You don't have to go crazy with your poses and your change. Maybe you just want a little tweak, imagine if Mando and Grogu were both looking in the same direction and Mando had his little scope out or something like that. It's just that little tweakage, which you can get with statues, usually with swap outs, but sometimes you don't get all the swap outs. So that's what I like, the little ability to little tweak things here and there. If Justin ever leaves Australia, he'll need a shipping container just for the I'll probably need two, I would imagine. My storage unit update, I got another one. So now I have two storage units. So one for the statues and one for the
I just have
box.
an attic. That's where all my boxes are. So,
Steph was like, really?
It's getting real crazy, Justin.
Yeah.
We got Ashley Chase. Sorry, Justin, go ahead. But Ashley Chase, thank you so much for the super chat. It really does mean a lot. Thank you. You guys are so generous, seriously. So it does mean a lot. So yeah, just I know what you're saying though with the shipping, like Australia, it's a little bit crazy. That's why
I can't weigh in. I'll bow out of this.
It pays to live in the States. I mean, what can I say? But best country.
Or if you live in Japan, you can walk down to Prime 1 and pick it up yourself. Costs you nothing.
The good thing is, Justin, though, with you, if you have pop culture, you get free shipping. So we don't have anything like that.
Usually we pay for the shipping in the price. So the Aquaman,
it bakes it up.
Prime 1 was $500 more from pop culture than it was from Sideshow, but then Sideshow would charge me $500 for the shipping. So it would be exactly the same.
Gotcha.
Usually, no matter what. So we're not really winning out. We're paying the same either way.
That's some shit right there.
I know it's bad.
So rest of you guys, feel free to weigh in. Like Dante, do you have any trepidation about if you ever had to get out of statues, shipping it out and selling it? Because I know I would feel stressed. I'm trying to trade in my iMac to Apple and it's stressful because it's big as hell, and I had to get it in the box back the same way. And I'm like you, Justin. If I forget how to put something back in the box, what I do is I look up an unboxing video. and then
I
I
do
watch
that
how
too,
they
yeah.
unboxed it, and then I'm like, oh, now I know how to put everything back. So Dante, do you have that? You have? I don't think you have a quarter scale statue yet, or a third scale, but you're getting the Heath Ledger third scale, I think, from Prime
Yeah.
One.
Yes,
So
I'm getting that one.
Ooh.
I don't think you would sell that, but
Yes.
are you nervous about having like the shipping costs or anything like that about it?
No, of course, yeah. Everything bigger than that and heavy is gonna be a bit pricey, right? In shipping, but no like $500 like just in case, but it's still pricey, right? Maybe $100, maybe 150, depending on where I'm gonna get it from. What I normally do is, if I'm gonna sell something, I'm just gonna record a video, like
That's
small video, or take a picture of the packaging, or just watch my own video after, right? Just to make sure I put it the right, the packaging back, right? But normally with six scale, it's much easier. With statues, I don't have a statue, so I don't know how the packaging and all those things works, but I would assume that whoever sold that to Justin probably recorded a video and know how to put it back in case
Right.
He was
need
great,
it,
by
right?
the way, Dante. He sent me like pictures as he was going, packing each thing up, and the head
See, that's
sculpt
how
was
you do
here,
it.
and this.
That's
That was
amazing.
awesome.
And
It
for
was a real good
liability
buying
reasons too, for
experience.
proof. It's like, oh, I'm packing it up. Here's what it looks like. Everything's
Right.
good. That's a smart way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I do as well when I sell my figures. I show the packaging, I show the box, all angles of the box, how you're gonna get it, with the foam, with the paper, and then when it's packed, everything. Because you never know, right? Maybe somebody gonna say, "Oh, you gave me something broken. Oh, you gave me something." Oh, look at the picture. This is exactly how I send it to you. But if you're gonna buy something big, right, you need to consider that as well. The shipping, how much you're gonna pay in shipping. Besides that, space, right? I really don't have much space, so I don't know where I'm gonna put the Ledger Joker, but and the quarter scale
Where that
Mando.
Grogu is, Dante. Get rid of the Grogu. Put Ledger
go.
there.
Collectors always
then-
figure it out. That's what we
Yeah,
do.
and you know
Yeah,
what? And
yeah.
that's funny because I was thinking about that too. I was like looking at him. I'm like,
You got a floor, right? You got a floor.
He's got his little green
no,
gullet
yeah.
exposed there. That nasty little gullet that he's got going. You get him out of there. Just get him out.
Don't let him hate on your Grogu,
oh,
Dante.
I like him
beautiful.
with the hat.
Be something, you know.
He's like Grogu, Spanish, the Spanish
Right.
version of Grogu.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
But yeah, so shipping is a huge thing. Hopefully when I get the one the Joker one, I don't have to pay a lot in shipping. I
Yeah.
don't think so because I'm gonna get it locally anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad. Like if you I think you get it from Common Concepts, right? That won't be
Yeah,
too bad.
Josh,
that
yeah.
won't be too bad. But before I go to you, Lane Kramer, thanks so much, Lane, our Battlefront compadre, Optical and I. I'm in the middle. You should see him, Justin and crew. He's pretty good at Battlefront. He's getting better. We rolled 3 deep with the Death Troopers.
You are so nice.
I was watching you playing with the Death Troopers one time.
I was wrecking with the Death Troopers. I was cleaning up shop a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I'm in the middle. It kind of made me want to get a second Death Trooper, but more on that. I'm in the middle getting statues and Hot Toys, but 22 years ago, I owned 40 statues and minibus. Damn, Lane.
Whoa.
Flexing on us. I aim for a rare statue I really want, focus on Hot Toys. That's, I think, how most of us tend to be. I don't get a lot of statues either. Like, I get them every now and then. I have like 5. It's not like I have a ton. I have way more Hot Toys. So, because you got to be selective with it. But Leo, how do you feel? Like, do the shipping prices and like the overall risk incurred with buying a statue, is that kind of just like dissuaded you from buying one?
No, I mean, not really, because I like it when it's figured. If normally when I buy, the shipping cost is actually figured in, so I'll know right off the top and what I'm paying for, and then on top of that, considering the simple fact that when I'm getting statues, I'm on a payment plan anyway. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm paying it off.
We're gonna get to that, yeah.
Exactly. I'm paying it off over time. So by the time it comes, I already know. I've known what the shipping costs would have actually been in the first place. So I've already paid my figure off or my statue off, and I'm ready to go. So it doesn't really, especially if it's something I really want, I don't really care about the cost. Like, I don't really think about the cost as much because, like, normally it's figured in. And as is, I'm very selective with the statues that I get. I'm really strategic on how I do it. I have a plan on why I do certain things a certain way. So yeah, it's not really a huge thing for me though.
Gotcha. And Mike, I know you can attest to this because we talked about the Prime 1 Sauron, and you knew that shipping charge, even the economy, which is like 1 to 3 months. Mine's still on a boat somewhere. I don't know where it is. It was like $300.
It's on a boat somewhere.
Yeah, it's on a boat somewhere. Justin, it shipped out like maybe 3 weeks ago. So I'm thinking maybe it'll come out near the end of the month and get to me, or maybe in January sometime. Who knows? But so, Mike, how do you feel about that with statues? Is it kind of like a gut punch?
Yeah. When I look at the price of statues and shipping, I kind of just try to put it together and figure out what it's going to be. So, I'm trying to decide if I want to buy the Queen Studio Mark 85 bust, and
Ooh.
I'm getting a really good deal on it, but the shipping is actually more expensive than the bust itself from the guy I'm buying it from.
Damn.
Right. And so if I look at the combined shipping and costs, it's the same as if I were to buy it, kind of locally. But wait another couple months. So it's just one of those things where it's like it's getting. I probably will. It doesn't take much to convince me. So the thing is, you're all talking about selling statues. I actually sold 3 today, and I also sold my legendary scale Vader to Junior, and I made the mistake of throwing away the box for legendary scale Vader, and he's gonna get it in 3 very well packed boxes, but. Luckily it's only going from Tennessee to Pennsylvania, so it's not too far, and the boxes aren't too huge, but never throw a box away.
It's
never
a collector's sin.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like I'm never gonna. What was that?
Although I did buy, and this guy locally is selling some Prime 1 statues. He always gets rid of the boxes, but then he sells them super cheap because of it.
Oh.
So I got my
Yeah,
BBS
but-
Batman 3rd scale, I think for like 700 Australian dollars, which is, I don't know what that is. Hold on, AUD, 500 US dollars.
Yeah.
And that boy is a pretty good price for that boy. So
Yeah,
he's currently selling. Will's going to be happy about this because I'm watching it. I'm thinking about it. The Prime 1 Bane he's got. He's got the Prime 1 Dark Knight Batman, which I'm considering. I have the Queen Studios one, but I think I want to compare because I've got J&D coming. So if I get the Prime 1, then I can finally answer that question and compare all 3, and then I'll be like, okay, this one I think is the best of the 3.
Nice.
So I guess throwing out the boxes if you're buying, it kind of works out. But not for if you're selling, obviously, because you got to drop the price down.
I wonder if that's true, because Max Geekdom said in Japan and Hong Kong they throw them away. Is that true?
Because of space, yeah.
They do throw them away. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Because it depreciates the value so much. At least
Budget Stark has a whole video on it. Will he had a
Does
whole
he?
video with him tearing them up and throwing them in a dumpster.
People
outside
probably were
something.
crying after that.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Yeah, right. It's a testy thing for sure, just because it does depreciate the value of the figure or the statue if you do ever go to sell it at any point. If you need to get out of the game, you need money for whatever reason, or you just fell out of love with the piece, if you destroyed the box like that or threw it out, for one, it's gonna be hard as hell to ship it, and then 2, it's just gonna people oh, you don't have the box, I'm taking 10-20% off. So
Right.
yeah, I mean it's
a lot more.
It's don't throw away if you can, do not throw away your boxes.
Yeah.
Maybe the shippers if you just don't have the space, like for Hot Toys. Like if you just don't have the space, fine. But you should keep those too, really. Because people get real weird about
Well,
that
if the box
too.
is inside the shipper, Will, it adds that much thickness
No, but
to it?
most people do. I
Exactly,
store my
that's what I
boxes
was about to
separate
say.
because I keep my accessories in the boxes. So I don't I have my
Will,
shippers in the
you
attic,
need
and I don't
to
want to
get
keep
a
those. I don't want to keep the accessories in the attic.
You need to
They'll
get a little
roast.
situation like this.
Yeah.
Get
Exactly.
the labels going. Put your
Oh.
accessories.
You're not gonna
You're
switch
go to the
it up
box
receiver.
every time. Will.
Yeah, they're in the box. Because why would I take them out? Because they're already in there and they're already exactly where I want them to be, and I know where they are. I don't have
Because
to
you
go
have
organize
to
them.
open the whole thing and
Yeah, I do the
pull
same
it
thing.
apart every time. It's a pain in the ass.
I
Depot.
me myself, I just can't get rid of art. I can't get rid of art boxes. I just love the art
Can't do
boxes.
it, Lale.
Nah,
Yeah.
I love the way they look. It's just, it's a complete package with it. Everything that comes in it. The clamshell is there. And I still the thing is, I tried once before to actually get an accessory box, but then it's just certain things, for instance, I got an accessory box, somebody came along, bumped it, and all the accessories got mixed around in different places. And I was like, yeah, nah. I'll just, and it's just, with the simple fact that I know it's transferable. If I did, now mind you, I don't sell anything. I don't sell figures. That's just not why I got into it. So it's not something I have to worry about. But if I did, at least I know the accessories were already there. I could just put the figure in, everything's packed up, it's ready to go, and I'm good. I have both the art boxes and the shipper still. Everything.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
it's just, and it's just basically because I have the space to keep it. I just like where it's just it's more sufficient. I can actually just do it that way, and it's gone. It's easy access. Why not?
You see, what I like to do is, I get those Home Depot cases, accessory cases, right? and I put the accessories in it in Ziplocs. So in case some, if you get bumps or anything, it's in the Ziploc, so it's not going anywhere. And I put the health scope in the Ziploc, and then I put
In a plastic,
that in a plastic, and then I put it in
Me
another
too,
plastic with all the accessories.
Because that
Umbrella
scope is
So-
the most. Yeah, yeah.
and
The head
and
scope goes in the
exactly, you don't want to
plastic,
get
you know.
right. You don't want to get like damage on the head scope or anything like that. So I do that all the time, and I have a bunch of those like piling up. That's the best thing you can ever get. Obviously, the big rifles or big accessories that you're not gonna use unless you want to change your
In the
display or
box,
something
yeah.
is in the box, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, transitioning to the next topic, we talked about boxes, talked about statues. I want to talk about something payment
Will
plans
with the
because
big topics today.
right. Always, Justin, philosophical, baby, philosophical. So I like to talk about this one because I think everyone has a different approach to how they buy their collectibles, right? Like I know Justin, you tend to just more buy them outright. Like some people like payment plans. I know Lael said for statues he tends to use payment plans. So, Dante, I want to start with you on this one. How do you normally approach this? Do you just pay for a figure once it's released? Do you pre-order? Do you use payment plans? How do you feel about payment plans in general? I know it's a lot to digest there, but what are your overall thoughts on payment plans?
All right, so I pre-order, but this is really not a huge amount of pre-orders that I do because I get those overseas anyway by the time it's released. So I don't have to pre-order unless I already pre-order stuff. I have stuff pre-order from like even before I open my channel. So I'm waiting for like Pennywise, waiting for the figure to come.
The
So that
goat
one is
figure.
already there.
Damn it.
And but okay, so with payment plans, there's two approaches on this one, right? Me personally, even though yes, I understand no interest is basically the payment broken down in pieces, whatever, it's fine. But the way I see it is this: let's say you have 5 figures, right? That you want to do payment plan, and let's say a month for those 5 figures is, I don't know, for 7 months, whatever term. Let's say $200, $250, let's put it, or 200, whatever. So it's $200 you pay in a month for 5 months for something you don't have in your hands, right? Personally, what I would do is if you can open another savings account that gets you more interest, you can just put that money there. And same thing you do, and instead of paying someone, you just paying yourself in the bank and leave it there, get some interest, and by the time the figure is out, you take your money and pay it. Simple as that. That's the approach I will take. Mainly because if the company goes bankrupt, whatever company you're buying from, overnight goes bankrupt, something happens, bankrupt, your money's gone. That's the way I see it. So unless, again, the likelihood is low, but it's still a possibility, right? Look what happened in 2008, for example, with all those companies going bankrupt overnight. So it can happen, right? So me personally, I like to either put that money aside, put it in a savings account, put it in some account that I'm going to make some money, or reinvest that money in something else. And then by the time I'm going to get the figure, get my money back, pay for whatever I'm going to get, and then get the difference for myself. So I get my figure, I get extra money, but again, that's me.
Yeah, that's fair. Leo, how do you feel about payment plans? Do you like them?
Yeah.
Yeah. do you use them often?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they your preferred method?
Look, I mean, the thing is, for me, it's convenience.
Yeah.
And the thing, as long as I budget well, and I know basically that once the figure is released, I'll have it if I've already paid it off. I'm not gonna, pay a lump sum. I mean, and here's the thing. Like, I mean, certain figures I'll wait, and I've gotten to that point right now that I haven't pre-ordered anything. I haven't pre-ordered anything else. I stopped doing pre-orders because it's just like, come on, man, especially figures that you're not going to see for another 2-3 years. Why? Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, it's, granted, we have these figures that aren't going to be released until 2003. We know with certain delays, you might not even see them until 2004, depending on when they're going to be released. So I just stopped doing pre-orders and focusing on the ones that I did have already, paying those off. So once those are out the way, then once it gets closer to the time that these figures that I do want are ready, again, I'll take the approach of just buying them straight out because now I'm a lot smarter. Not saying that I wasn't smarter when it came to pre-ordering the figures that I have right now, because I just like the comfort of knowing that I've paid them off. They're right there. They're ready to go. As soon as that figure's available, boom, I'll have it. I don't have to worry about anything else or paying anything else going forward. So, I mean, I'm just looking at it as an expense when it comes to a lot of people. Look, there's a lot of people out there. A lot of us, who are in this game right now, we know how to kind of manipulate and play around with the game. But there's a lot of fresh heads who don't really know how to really invest in these figures and how it works. And again, if you're not smart about it, you can't go bankrupt. Like, you have to be smart about it because these things are expensive. So, just know how to basically do it. But I just don't, you hear this all the time. As soon as a figure drops, yeah, I'm pre-ordering day one. Why? Like really, why? If you think about it, why are you pre-ordering these figures that you're not going to see for another few years? Like, just wait. And again, I fell victim to it because it's like you always want to be the first to get a certain figure, or, you see it coming, you're like, yes, I cannot wait, whatever. Okay, that's fine. But do you have to necessarily pre-order it right now? No, you don't. I mean, unless you're one of those who, again, there's a few of us that there are figures. Now, I'm going to tell you this right off the back. When Fennec is released and they announce it, I'm paying that thing off right away.
Sure.
Like, literally, I am, because I have a love and affinity for that figure. But you know what I mean? When it comes to certain figures, I can wait. I can seriously wait. I can pay off the ones that I have right now and just get those out the way, and I don't have to worry about anything else going forward. Certain figures, like, you know what I mean? I love, like for instance, if people can be patient, if you don't want to, if there's certain Spider-Man figures that you want to order and you don't want to, you don't really mind waiting until it arrives, but yet you don't want to put anything down. Hey, there's the Sideshow no NRD, to certain figures that you can
Spider-Man
actually
figures.
purchase, especially Spider-Man figures. You can just put them on. I guess Sony just has this thing with them where they're like, look, no NRD, because we know people will buy these figures. So I guess this is the way it is. You can go that route, but I just don't think that you have to necessarily day one pre-order a figure. You don't have to basically do that. And again, we say it all the time. People who do that, some people do that for clout. They want to be known in this community. They want people to look at them a certain way. They want to be represented a certain way. They want you to basically, they look for the accolades. You don't need that. Seriously, you don't. Like, you don't have to basically impress anyone. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And again, we always say you don't have to be a collector to be a part of this community. You can join in eventually if you want to collect, and you can. That's just how it is. But for me, like I said, I just decided I do like payment plans because, like I said, I like the simple fact that you have the option to pay it off over time, depending who you basically go through. And I always use the safest way for me in certain instances is PayPal, because I know I can be secured that way. You know what I mean? In certain aspects, and basically the way I have it. For some people, they might choose to do it a totally different way. Like I said, Dante, I do agree. You can actually open up an account. You can do it that way. I mean, if you want to. But at the same time, like, I mean, there are secure ways to do it. But I guess it just comes down to a person's preference. But just be smart about it. And if you can't, do what's within your realm, and what's affordable. Don't cash yourself out. Don't be an idiot. Like, seriously, don't do that, because at the end of the day, you're going to look back and be like, damn, what did I do? Well, you purchased all these figures that you didn't really need. And you know what I mean? Just be smart about it. That's all I'm saying.
And that's some great thoughts, Leo. We're going to get into that. But sorry, Dante, go ahead.
If you allow me just 1 minute, somebody in the chat put about Affirm and the soft credit pool. So if you get Bob Dylan. So there's two things, right? When you get a soft credit pool, it doesn't affect your credit. First of all, it's just a soft pool, so it would not downgrade your credit score. So you can be sure of that. The problem with Affirm is that you pay interest on it. So even though the payment looks low, you're still gonna pay interest.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna buy something like Lyle said, if that works for him, amazing, perfect. But if you want to get something and you know, Lyle, for like in general, right? If you want to get a figure and you feel like you just want to pay it off, like Lyle said, he will pay it off Fennec. Man, that's the best way of doing it, right? But still, again, this is just me, my personal preference. I don't like to pay it off stuff right off the bat because, again, in the case the company goes bankrupt, I'd rather lose $25 than $250. And again, I work in banking, so that's what I'm telling you, right? With my experience. But that's why I said it all the time. There is nothing wrong with payment plans. There's nothing wrong to use PayPal if you want to use PayPal credit, if you want to use Affirm. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be mindful that you're going to pay interest. That's all.
So, Optical, how do you feel about it? Do you like payment plans? Do you do them?
Oh man, you guys know my background, and
we got two
that's
financiers here, so
that's a no for us. We never, like you put a payment plan on a house, on a car, because those are necessities, but never on something that doesn't give ROI, meaning return of investment, right? Like if you don't need one, if you don't need it for your life, we always say don't do it, for several reasons. Because that is one step of developing self-control. You don't need these things, right? No one needs these things. So by having a self-control, you can actually limit your, because what payment plan does is it gives you a false, I guess, false identity of it's cheap.
False sense of security, maybe.
Yeah, false insecurity. It was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just paying 50 a month. In reality, you still paid 250. I'm not saying you can't afford it, but if you're really having a hard time forking out 250, maybe you shouldn't, right? And it's in it again, it's fine if you can't. It's gratifying that you buy something, you kind of save up for it, and then maybe on your birthday or Christmas or whatever the case is, and then you buy it. In a more financial way, that's what I would recommend. Now, if payment plan works for you, I support that. Like it's just that's something that you wouldn't hear from us. Like if you go to a financial, advisor institution or whatever the case is, we suggest a firm. Let's say you're a carpenter and your equipment broke. Now you really need this. You can't work without an equipment. So yeah, do the affirm, do the 4 payments. Why? Because that equipment will make you more money. So there's a return of investment within that affirm, right? Because you need it. I don't know if you can say the same thing about Hot Toys. So Hot Toys is more of a leisure that we do. It gives us happiness. It gives you motivation. I get all of that. But you can also do that while running, right? The thing is, there are other things that if you can't control yourself, because again, if you're doing payment plans, I'm only doing like 200, a month because I'm paying 4 figures, $50 per month. Yeah, it still adds up. Like it's kind of like saying, I use points. Dude, it's still the same price. It's not on sale. You use points. Points like cash. Like if you bought a figure that you don't intend to buy in the first place, but you say, I use points anyway. You could use that points to something that you actually like. So the figure is not lesser. It's just that it gave you the impression that it's cheaper, but again, it works. It could work for anyone else. Like if you're having a hard time budgeting, I guess that kind of like it's a forced budgeting, but I don't want to make the impression that you're being forced to buy Hot Toys. You know what I mean? Like you're forcing yourself. Because if you really can't afford it, that means you're giving up on something else. I don't know whether that's food, going to the gym to make these payments monthly, right? If you can't afford it, so that means you're taking out a part of your lifestyle to afford this. And I don't know if I could, within our realm, we don't really do that. If like Khalil Mack comes up to us, is like, I want to buy that match, dude, you're gonna get traded next year. Don't do that. I know you're making 90 million, but it's like but yeah, I mean, it's to each his own. Some people does that. It is what it is, but I would suggest what Dante said: open a savings, try to do it yourself, and at the end of the day, if you didn't meet your goal because you had to use that for, I don't know, gas, rent, or whatever the case is, your car broke down, then don't have a Hot Toy. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah. And that's all really good because I've done a lot of payment plans. So I've found myself in that position before. So, I mean, yeah, it gives you that false sense of security for sure. I still like payment plans as long as you're managing them well and knowing when your payments are and how many you have each month. But you could very easily get swamped and have a gazillion payments because you're like, I could just pre-order this. It's a small deposit and I'll pay $50 a month. But if you have 6 of those, then you're paying $300 a month. And at that point, you're like, you got to factor that into every monthly budget. So it's a big factor. So, Mike, how do you approach this? Do you normally just pay for things outright or do you like payment plans?
Yeah, I usually pay for things outright. I'll go ahead and I'll pre-order certain things, so the 10% or $15, depending on where you're buying it.
Yeah.
But I've been down that road of payment plans, and I'm fine with it. But then it's like, well, wait a minute, I'm paying basically enough for one figure per month with the payment plan. So why don't I just wait until that figure actually comes out, and then I'll pay for it in full? Because usually you're not getting, most people are not getting 2, 3, 5 figures, a month, maybe not, but then, for some things you have to, like mortgage, car, stuff like that. And for collectibles, if you collect Regal Robot or, some of the super high end, Prime 1, J&D, stuff like that, it might not be a bad idea, especially Regal Robot released, 2 or 3 super expensive things this year in a very limited quantity. And if you didn't do a payment plan, you're either extremely wealthy or you had to give up on 1 or 2 of them and maybe you didn't want to. With Hot Toys, I don't like the idea of, paying it off, and let's say you pay it off in 6 months, but then you're still waiting 13 to 15 months for it to come out, and that's money that you could have put towards something else. And I'm not saying, necessarily food or gas or something, and you could do that, but maybe something came out from a different company, or maybe you learned about something, or I'm the worst because I'll just go and watch all of your guys' feeds, especially Justin, and then I'll be like, damn, this is really cool. Is it still available? I never knew about this buy. And if my funds were tied up somewhere else, I wouldn't have it available at that point. And then the other thing is, collecting is evolving so much that where's your collection going to be 13 to 15 months from now, or even 2 years, depending on the hot toy? Do you even still want that 1/6 figure? Do you even collect 1/6? Maybe you're into 1/4 all of a sudden after watching the show. And you have the ability, because what are the chances that at Sideshow your NRD is going to be refundable because of delay? This year, extremely possible, if not almost every single one. You can get that NRD back, no problem, and you can put that towards something else. So that's kind of the way I'm doing it right now, except for super high end stuff. And it's worked out really well. And, you don't get that monthly hit of, paying 5 things at once, 6 things at once, and you have more money in the bank. And I do love the idea, because this is what I do for my taxes and I have multiple accounts where I'm just putting money into tax account, putting money into some other account, and exactly where your money is. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot easier to manage yourself. And so you could be honest with yourself and with your family. Okay, here's my Hot Toys budget. It's right here in this separate bank account, and maybe it's earning interest, and you're earning the interest, not Sideshow or Hot Toys or anybody else. So I really like the idea of taking control of your own money and taking advantage of it versus letting someone else take advantage of it.
Yeah, I really like that idea you guys are throwing out, though, making a separate account specifically for collectibles. That's really interesting to me. I've never thought of that, but I would like to try that, I think. Because I basically just have it all under one account, basically. I have 2, but, I use one mostly for savings, then one for just all under account, expenses, daily things, collectibles, whatever. But I kind of like having the separate ones. Then you can, I track my budget in every purchase I make anyway, but having a separate account might have a little more accountability there. So,
but that's still something that anybody who's doing or actually does or pre-orders and is on a payment plan would do.
Right.
You have a separate account where you basically deposit certain money in, because again, I hear what everyone's saying, but what you have to also understand is, just because a lot of us do payment plans doesn't mean that we're not smart about it.
Okay.
We're not intelligent enough to know how much we're basically spending per month. Not intelligent enough to know how many figures we actually have on pre-orders. And on top of that, to separate the accounts from my other expenses. I know how much I pay basically in rent or my utilities each individual month. I have a separate account where money is deposited in, because I have a tally of what figures I have, what actually is coming out, what I need to pay. So that's the way I can actually keep track of it. It's not that I'm not being smart. I am being extremely smart enough to separate my accounts. Yeah. So the thing is, I think it's our responsibility also understanding that, okay, yes, we want to pay things out, or we have the money to pay certain things out, but people out in the chat and people out in this community, not everybody can afford to do it that way. They rely on payment plans because it's structured that way based on other expenses. And because of that, they may separate their accounts. They may do certain things that we don't know about. So the thing is, we got to be kind of careful when we tread that line, not to basically make everybody else out there feel less than, because they do actually, use or utilize some of the actual payment plans. Some of the Sideshow figures I'll put NRD on. I won't, do a payment plan for them. I'll just put in, pay once it's available. Because I know basically when that actual figure is going to drop, and chances are it's going to be months after the release. No Sideshow. I don't give a fuck if they hate me saying that. It's just the way it is. But just knowing that's what they are and what they do, this is pretty much. But again, it's just like, look, not everybody. Look, it's to each their own. Everyone does it a certain way. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. So we can't put that fear in other people's hearts just because they choose to basically go the route of payment plans.
Yeah,
so
and I have a lot of payment plans. Trust me, I do a lot.
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm not a rich man by any stretch. So I do
Just
a lot of payment plans.
One quick point. No, I agree with Lyle. I don't think nobody here is gonna doubting anybody's way of doing their finances. This is just the 2 cents that we're sharing, because some of us have different backgrounds in different fields, right? I have more finance, same as Optical 20 is accounting, I think. So he knows those things, and those are something that we know, and that's what we share with you guys. So you guys, at the end of the day, You guys are the one who's gonna take this or not. Whatever works for
Right.
you, and it's been working so far,
Mhm.
perfect. There's really not no right or wrong way. We just kind of give you our perspective of why do we prefer this way of doing it, and why other people prefer monthly payments. Again, nothing wrong with that either. That's
No.
all we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get to you, Justin, Sean Bean, S.Bean, Sean Bean, as I like to call him. I do reviews as well, but not much this month because of budget and Xmas figures. Just have to wait. All your points of view on this subject have been spot on. Just be smart with your money. Don't break yourself. Great topic, amigos. Thanks so much, Sean Bean. I appreciate it. You're still alive. I'm happy for you. It really does mean a lot, though. Thank you. Justin, I know you like to buy things outright typically, and you buy them on release. Do you have sort of an affinity for payment plans? Do you have any feelings on it?
I guess I'm a mix of what everyone has said. So I don't love payment plans, but they are great. They're a great option for more expensive things, obviously. I prefer to, if I am going to buy something pricey, I will take each month out of my salary and I will put it into my offset. So I don't know if you all do mortgages the same way in the US as we do it here, but we can have a portion of your mortgage in a separate account so that you can put money aside. So maybe it's 100 grand, 200 grand, whatever it is, you can keep adding to it, and that will reduce your mortgage payment because it's sitting in that account. So you're not earning interest, but you are reducing the price of your mortgage payment. So that's what I do. I put all of my money aside for tax, and I put my collectibles purchasing money in the offset, which dramatically brings down the price of my mortgage payment.
Yeah.
And I don't finance my car. And I don't finance my phone. I know people put phones on plans or whatever. The only debt that I have is my mortgage. So I try and reduce that as much as humanly possible. And then when it comes to figure purchasing time, I know that I've put the money aside and I've used it in a way that's helped me save even more. So that's the way I do it. But again, there are a million different ways that you can budget and do your payment plans. If you want someone else to budget for you, if you want to put the money with Sideshow, I mean, I've done one payment with Prime One, and I just did the deposit, and then I'll just pay it off when it comes out for freaking the Batman
right? Yeah.
thing. Yeah. The Batman, the Pattinson and Batman. I put the deposit down, and then I had the option of doing the payment plan, and I seriously thought about it. I was like, ooh, maybe because it's a pricier thing, I'll just do that. But then I thought, nah, I'll stick with what I'm doing. It's worked. It saves me money on the mortgage. And again, I don't know if you'll do it the same way in the US with the offset account and all that. Maybe you do. I don't know. But it's just the way that I like to do it. There's a little bit of savings is always good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this also transitions as well. Doesn't that? Those some great thoughts. All you guys, seriously, amazing thoughts. I love how you each have individual backgrounds. It leads you into your own way of thinking and your experience. It's really great. So, and the chat, I can tell, sort of has they're all over the board too in terms of whether they like payment plans or not. The final topic, main topic of the evening, I wanted to discuss this. Is the collectible market evolving? Let me sort of introduce this topic. What I mean by that is kind of like what we just talked about. I think one of the things that we're seeing, and maybe it's anecdotal, but one of the things I'm noticing in the collecting environment, we're seeing more discussions about budgeting. We're seeing more discussions about payment plans.
Unfortunately.
We're seeing more discussions about, being responsible with your collecting. We're seeing more discussions about whether you want to buy day one or whether you want to wait and buy it from a US retailer or pop culture or wherever and save money, whether you want to pre-order or not. So my question mostly is the collectible market evolving? It's a pretty broad question, but I want to start with Lael on this one because I know, Lael, you have some thoughts on this, but I think at least maybe in the last 6 months, like what Denobi has described as the storm and other people too, right? We're getting a lot of collectibles. Like we're getting a lot of Hot Toy releases. We're getting a lot of pre-orders. A lot of statues are dropping. It's so hard to keep up with everything. Infinity Studios are dropping heat. J&D, Prime One, everyone is dropping stuff, right? So it definitely is something for sure that there's just a lot of good stuff coming out. So Lael, do you think the market is evolving? Are collectors getting smarter?
I think it is. Definitely, I think it is, and I would hope so. I mean, because the thing is, again, it just goes back to the conversation. Justin does reviews. He's known for basically doing reviews. So, of course, getting figures day one for him is within his wheelhouse because it's part of, and you might as well say this is a profession, like straight up, and he does it well, extremely well. So, that's for him is where it's at. Dante, he does reviews as well. So he gets, day one figures. Ryan and, and a few others. I used to do that. I used to basically do it because I was doing reviews at that time until I decided that, I wanted to kind of switch. There was, you know, there's so many reviewers out there already. I wanted to try something different. So that's when I stuck to just doing, you know, figure posing reviews. So basically we just sit back and we pose figures. I do my, you know, whatever. So it doesn't really beg for me to actually have to have that figure day one. Once I get it, I get it. And then I'll just pose it up and just give people options as far as, you know, whether it's, you know, character poses or dynamic poses. That's where I stick, because that's basically my niche, where I'm at right now. So I decided I didn't have to do it. On top of that, just looking at the market, looking at the way things are being done right now, you're getting figure releases that you're not going to see for another 2 years. Why pre-order? Like, honestly, what's the point in pre-ordering that figure if you're not going to see that figure for another 2 years? Why are you, or what makes you feel as though you have to get day one figures over anyone else? What are the real reasons why you're actually doing it? Are you doing it because people are telling you to do it? Are you doing it because of clout? Or do you genuinely have a love for it that you absolutely need it? Because if you absolutely think you need it, you really, really don't, to be quite honest. So, I mean, I think you can actually wait. And I think that people are starting to realize that now. We're getting an influx of so many figures that figures that a lot of us don't even want. But, you know, that is what it is. That's a topic for another store, another you know, time, whatever. But, you know, I just feel as though, like, basically for me, you know, you just have, again, it just goes back to being smart. Pre-ordering figures day one, like as soon as it drops. And then the thing is, it's all right. Case in point. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
A company did this months ago. You all know what the company is. I don't have to say shit.
Sideshow?
Exactly. So they put out, what did they do? They put out the deluxe version of Mando, all right? The deluxe, no, it was not Mando, Boba Fett, deluxe, with the throne. And it was the deluxe version that had just the actual holographic piece with it, right? They said you had this amount of time to order it, pre-order it now, right? Pre-order that thing now, or you won't see it again. They gave us an amount of time, right? That time passed, that figure was still fucking available. But they made people believe that you had to pre-order it right then and there just to secure your spot. If you did that, that was a sucker move. Because they baited you into doing some shit like that. And it's a shame. That's, to them, they should be ashamed of doing shit like that. Seriously. Because you don't necessarily have to. You can wait. There's other places you can actually get that figure from. And honestly, do you need that little small ass hype? How many people use that? I don't. I don't use it. I never use it. Like, how many people use that little holographic piece? You don't necessarily fucking need it. So my thing is, it's like, look, be smart about it. If you're not going to see these figures for a few years, why? Again, 2003, some of these figures are going to be released. But again, once that comes around, a certain company may not have it until 2024. You know what I mean? So just think about it. Before you do that, just wait. I would actually not pre-order right now, especially if you are already getting through some of the stuff that you have right now. Get through those first, and then later down the line, decide whether or not you want to do it. But you don't have to. You don't. And I think people are smart about it right now because they are seeing it. They're seeing some of the lies that have basically been told. They're seeing the simple fact that, like, these figures are delayed. If you see these figures right now that we were supposed to have 3 years ago delayed, Pennywise, then basically look at the simple fact that when we get those other figures that are coming, they're going to experience some delays as well. So you have to just be really, really use common sense. That's the end. That's what I would actually say. Use common sense enough to know whether or not you should or you shouldn't. And what I would actually tell you is just hold off. Just wait. The figure will be there. Some of the figures that you wanted and you thought, like, for instance, there were a couple of figures that we saw. We were like, damn, like, that's probably going to sell out. And it hasn't. And it's still sitting with certain companies and they haven't gotten rid of it. But you felt as though you needed to have that figure day one. Yeah, nah. Just chill a little bit, wait, lean back, and just watch, and everything will do what it needs to do. So
yeah, it's a great point. So Carlos brought up a really good point. Carlos, one of our other Battlefront compadres, he did pretty well too. Not gonna lie. So Carlos, no need to pre-order anymore. Hot Toys don't sell out, and if they do, they're just reissued like Venom. So, Justin, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this ideology?
That ideology or the main topic?
Either or. It all ties together.
I'll
I feel
go
like
with
pre-ordering,
Carlos's-
not pre-ordering. But yeah, hit the main
I'll go
topic
with this
first.
one first. I'll hit the main topic first and I'll talk about Carlos.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely noticing it shift and I don't love it. So we're focusing less on like the artistry, on like, oh, that looks so good, the paint applications, the sculpt, the outfit, the etc. We're not really talking about that stuff anymore, and we're mostly talking about price, availability, first batch, second batch, retailers, shady stuff that companies are doing, and I really don't like that. But it seems that we keep going back to it, and I'm hoping that one day we can start talking about the art again, because that's why we got into this, and that's why we love them, right? So I'm getting a little bit burnt out just with that side of it, but I understand they're valuable topics and people like to hear our opinions on them. But like, it's a lot, so I'm hoping we can get back to the figures themselves, but also it's evolving in another way. I think more people than ever are seeing these things for the first time and are buying these things for the first time, and I think a lot of people are doing that potentially through my videos, which it's an absolute honor to introduce people to this hobby via my videos. I don't take that lightly at all. So when I make a video, I try and make it tailored for people like us, but also people who haven't seen these things before, because I guarantee you the 4-something million people who watched that Young Rich Miles video, they probably have never seen something like that before, and it's the intrigue, that little spark of joy, that when they sit back and they watch that movie, it gets stored up in here. So when they see something tangible that will put them back in that moment when they saw that character do that thing that they love to see them do, that's something that gets you hooked on these things. So I love seeing people discover that. And every day we're seeing comments saying, oh, I've discovered Hot Toys, thanks to you and your live streams, and Will and Lael and, Man of Hot, and all these awesome collectors, Optical as well. And obviously you as well, Mike, with your badass statues in the background. It's, it's something that's, Will's quote, I wrote it down.
I have a lot of those, a lot of good quotes.
Yeah, well, he had a good quote last stream. I wrote it down, so I need to find it. But it brings us all together, and it's something that we can enjoy. So I'm hoping that we can get back to the enjoyment side of it versus the analytical, more serious. But like, there is maybe once a week we'll do or once a month we'll do a serious stream, and then we'll focus on how cool these things are and what we do and we don't like about the actual item, not the price or the company or any other stuff like that. But Carlos's point, most of the time they don't sell out unless you're looking for something like multiple years down the line. Like if you wanted to find Han Solo from A New Hope, for instance, you're going to struggle. He's pretty expensive on the aftermarket, and he's not getting reissued. It's they will reissue ones that have a reason to be reissued. So Venom, like, you really didn't see that coming. Like Venom 2, they spent so much money on that body, you really didn't see that they were going to make another one? Of course they're going to make another one. Come on. Of course they are. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't make sense for them to reissue it, like if they made Shazam from Shazam 1, which they didn't, kind of wish they did, but if they made Shazam from Shazam 1, in 4 years, they're not just going to reissue a random Shazam from Shazam 1. Golden Armor Aquaman, when he sells out, they're not going to reissue him. He's got a completely different looking suit in the new movie. He's probably going to have a new head sculpt. Even if they do give you this suit, he's going to be different. So you got to pick your battles. If you are comfortable knowing that you're buying a super popular character like Venom, and you know that there's a second movie coming, it's fairly likely that there's going to be a new one. So you can read the writing on the wall with these things. If it's a character like the 3-0 Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that's it. You're going to get one batch and that's it. The Ghostbusters from Blitzway, perfect example. I know everyone thinks they're going to reissue them for the new movie, but why? Why would they? They're going to give you the old people version of the Ghostbusters and probably the kids. They're not just going to randomly be like, oh yeah, I know they don't look like this in the movie anymore, but here you go. There they are. Job done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got to pick your battles. You can read the writing on the wall with these things as to when to pre-order and when not to pre-order, when to buy and when not to buy. If it's a character that's not likely to get reissued and you love that character, fuck it. Buy it. What's the worst that can happen? You can sell it.
Yeah. And we got another super chat. Spice Runner. Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off. But thank you so much, Spice Runner. Third party has a higher chance selling out than Hot Toys. That's true. And so do statues.
Green Goblin is sold out. He was a limited run.
Because there's very limited runs, yeah.
Super limited run of So Toys Green Goblin. It's sold out, and immediately when it sold out, the price of the figure on the aftermarket went straight
Yeah.
through the roof. So on
And thank-
eBay right now, Sosa Toys Goblin is very pricey.
Yeah, thank you so much, Spice Runner. Carlos, thank you so much again, man. Really does mean a lot. Justin, I bought the SDK Millennium Falcon pre-owned. It said Justin on the side of the box. I'm wondering, was this for your review unit?
Oh,
Was
DT,
it?
That's awesome. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Usually
Small
when I get
world,
sent something,
right?
They usually write my name on the box. Sometimes I get a little smiley face if they're feeling nice. Sometimes,
Nice, okay.
Every now and then a little smiley face. So yeah, you
Small
have
world.
the one that I reviewed, Carlos. That's fantastic.
That's amazing. So, Optical, how do you feel about this? I know it's a broad question, but how do you feel about the evolution of the collectible market? Is this something you're noticing changes, or
By market, you mean like prices or just
that? No, I just mean the market overall, the market of collectors. Like, are collectors evolving? Like, I mean, are collectors evolving? Are companies changing? Someone made a really good point because of COVID. The market is booming. A lot more collectors are coming in. So you could talk about the prices. You could talk about the companies themselves. You could talk about the collectors. Is that changing? Like, people are being more cognizant of what they're buying. So collectors and the market overall, I feel like, are evolving.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen Hot Toys being, below MSRP. Like
Right.
you go to Toys Wonderland, you see Lando for like 207 or something like that. He just came out. As far as Justin, what he mentioned earlier, I agree. I mean, I guess we talked about all these stuff now, but we kind of like step away from the artistry of, and that's what brought me from from reviewing anyways, the looks of these Hot Toys. But lately it's been overshadowed by, things of these nature, like prices. And I guess it comes along with the territory because there are figures that we're really excited about, like that. I mean, you and me, I guess. Some of you guys are not, like the Pennywise.
Dante?
I know Lael is, like me and him love that Hellboy and Alita.
Right.
I love those two as well. Optical. They're awesome.
There you go. Yeah, I guess that's what's missing is those one-offs. Because sometimes, like, I guess older collectors like myself, we talk about the business side of Hot Toys, and I get all of that. But I guess when we talk about business, that's where we become a part of the business, right? Like, all right, I understand why you're releasing so many troopers, but now I'm noticing too that that's all I'm getting, and the price is like this trooper is more expensive than this. I guess that's where the market comes in. It kind of like, come on, man, just throw us a bone once in a while, just one Alita once a year, so we can go
That's my point.
hype me back.
You're getting your cyberpunk Keanu.
That's my point.
Yeah, right.
It's coming. Don't
That's
you
a hot
worry.
one, all right.
That's
like,
my point.
Just
That's
throw me a
been my
bone,
point.
man. Like, I'm not asking for like 3 a year here. Like this year, that nothing was announced that's not Star Wars, Marvel, or outside of that Cyberpunk, I suppose. But,
Which nobody wants.
yeah, nobody wants.
Right.
Actually,
Like
Steph wants it. Steph loved the game.
Oh,
so
okay,
actually,
well, that's good.
that's going on her shelf, I guess.
It's Keanu. That's why they made it. But
Keanu.
It's Keanu. We know.
Yeah, I guess that's what's kind of like triggered all of these. It's kind of like back then. This is Iron Man for us. This is with the time where Iron Man 3, the House Party Protocol, and we're just talking about Iron Man every
But
time.
they didn't even finish Optical. Like, if you're gonna do it, then fucking do
Right.
it. Like,
Right.
finish it all.
And
What
it's
the
just
hell?
as far as evolving, it's coming back. Back then we all have Terminators and Predators, and we're like, why are we getting all of these stuffs? All Terminators and Predators. Now they're gone. Now they got replaced by Star Wars. And we're like, why are we not getting Terminators and Predators? So it just goes back, but it's wild now. It's so wild that it's so unpredictable. Like that, because we got the streams now about prices and whatnot, and buy this because it's going to be expensive. And you see Lando, you go to Toys Wonderland, Will, I know you're like dipping back and forth with that because it's like
Right.
207.
Right.
Like that's supposed to be expensive now, and not to flip it or anything, but with so many figures coming out, you kind of have to have an educated guess on. It was like, okay, is this going to sell out first? Should I buy this first? All right, I'm going to prioritize this first. I guess that's where the market is as far as evolving. Because back then it was like there's so few choices. Like, all right, I'm going to buy that. The moment
Right.
it pops up, you got to hit F5. I got to get that golden Midas. I got to hit that F5 refresh because in an hour that Midas is going to sell out. Now you're being told that Lando's going to sell out, and he's sitting there, short trooper, and it's there now
That's
with
my
so many
point.
choices. With so many choices now, like,
Yep.
what am I going to get first?
Yep.
Like, just talk about budgeting. It was like, what? And this is another thing where if you don't do, like, if you wait, not just like I was saying, not even pre-order. Even if you don't pre-order, you wait. Maybe you'll get a rescue like I did for like 3. I love
Right.
I love that rescue, but best decision that I made. Waited. That quarter scale Spider-Man, I waited.
Hey, wait.
Right.
It's a different ball game now where, like Carlos was saying earlier, it's almost like the ones that you have to pre-order are like the Pennywise, like you said, Will, like the Lokis for you, like the
Right.
ones that you really love. Now the one that you just kind of like, it might benefit you if you wait, because it might go down, or if it doesn't go down, it remains in stock, or you lose it. It's kind of like the game that we're playing now, where it's like wait and see.
Right.
It's minimal risk now if you don't. I guess in that sense of market evolving. But I agree with Justin. Like, this is like the prices, and it got lost. But then again, you can only talk so much about like how awesome the Shore Trooper is. But man, throw us an Alita every once in a while.
That-
Alita.
I think that's why.
Can I and that's
go ahead, Leo.
to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, Opticals, because I completely agree. I hate talking about the prices and shit too, because that's not why I got into it. I hate talking about market. I hate the market value. I hate talking about, buy and sell shit like that. I don't. That's not. I got these figures because I actually have a love for them, and they fit my collection. I like looking at them. I like coming downstairs, reposing, doing everything that I need to do. I don't. When it starts, but the biggest thing is it's a ripple effect, and there's certain things cause and effects to everything. Like, for instance, Hot Toys will basically release a prototype to a figure that we'll never see. Now, what happens is they'll release that prototype. The magic was when they released it, then we can anticipate that going on pre-order, and it was something that you really loved because it was different. And on top of that, it might have been something from the IP that was different that you really said, damn, I never thought they would make it. They're making it. I'm happy. Now it's like I never thought they would make it, and they won't. And that's just basically how it is. And because of that, we have nothing else. Okay, so we can't expect that, but we can expect a re-release on the figure that we never really asked for, or multiple figures that we get, like multiple Mandos. Because to be quite honest, I love Star Wars so much. I've grown up with it all my life. But multiple Mandos, I'm starting to get sick of it, bro. Like, literally, I am. It's way too much. The Troopers, we're starting to get a lot of those now. Now, mind you, it's and I'm fine with that. That's cool. But at the same time, again, like you said, throw us a bone. Give us something different. Release one of those figures that you never thought in your market would sell, but over here in the U.S. market, it would do quite well. Like, do some of that. Do things, like, give us more variety, and then we can get back to loving some of these figures and talking about the beauty and the art. If I get like 1,000,001 Iron Man in 1 year, 1,000,001 Batman figures in 1 year, what am I going to talk about that I haven't already talked about before? Now, granted, I know that these people are like, yes, I love these figures. I love these figures, so yes, I want more and more and more. But I mean, damn, how much can you talk about? How many reviews can you do on that same figure that won't be different? Say that the head sculpt is different when chances are it might not be as different as you think. Like, literally, like, how many times can we do that, and not receive something different, something totally different? Again, when we got Alita, it was a remarkable figure. That Alita is that Hellboy, remarkable figure. Like, literally, it is an amazing piece to have it in your collection. If you don't, you might want to rethink it. And I'm not trying to tell people they have to get it. I know I got it and I loved it because it's different. And that's the beauty that I miss. Something that's different that I could marvel over the figures that I've loved for some time, or something that was different that I didn't think I was going to love. We don't see that anymore. And that's when these prices, because people get so pissed off because they're getting multiple figures of the same figure, and then they're seeing that price go up. That's when it becomes a problem.
And Lyle, to add to that, like, it's not like we're first seeing, you don't want to call reissue, right? Like, they've been doing this since way back. DX01 is Joker, DX11 is another Joker. But there is a gap. MMS 68 is Joker, then DX01, DX11. They've done it in the past. MMS 78 is Batman, then DX02, DX12, Armory Batman. So they've done it in the past. It's not like they're doing it now, but there was a space for us to breed. So there's kind of like, oh man, all right, I miss that Batman. Kind of like, it's like, I like Popeyes, man, but I can't eat Popeyes every day. Like, I love it, but it's too much of something. Kind of like, damn. I was like, okay, I just talked about this, and give us something different to talk about, and then go back to Star Wars, because we get the business side of it. It's easy to make Troopers, easy to make Spider-Man, this and that. I get that. They're a company, they're for profit, they gotta make money, but every once in a while, you're also known for your artistic approach. Go back to your roots. Kind of like, throw us one, just one, just a little Alita or something. Showcase what you're made of. I know this helmeted figures, they look great. I love army building, like, they're all great, but every once in a while, we're pop culture fans as well. So
Yeah.
you get that in. I get, I get the
Yeah.
passion.
Before I get to Dante and Michael on this one, yeah, I think you guys raised really good points. And I think I was about to say exactly what Blitz said in the chat. A law on actual releases makes topics wander into other topics in and around collecting. Exactly. That's the problem. I mean, that's part of it because, yes, ideally we should always focus on the artistry of the figures and how great the products are. But how much is there to talk about? We have to fill a 2-hour show, right? And
Yeah, Justin, shut up. What are
No,
you
no,
talking,
no.
Justin?
Justin, what you're saying is very valid. But Hot Toys had one release last week. It was Mando quarter scale, and we talked about it. It took us 20 minutes, right? So there's nothing else to really talk about. And I feel like the reason I think these topics are really valuable is because it lets us talk about things that aren't talked about. Like these are aspects of collecting that everyone thinks about, but they should think about more. Because in my opinion, like even stuff as simple as what do you do with the boxes? What do you think about having to resell figures? What do you think about budgeting? Things like that. Because they're all aspects that keep you in collecting. The less you think about these things, the shorter amount of time you're going to be a collector. Because you're going to run out of money, you're going to run out of space, you're going to wish you thought about these things before. So I think this is why these topics are valuable, just because, yes, we love the figures, but kind of like we did right with Mando, right? Quarter scale, we were like, yeah, it looks fantastic. Look at the base, look at the accessories, looks amazing. But there's nothing else to really talk about with that figure besides it looks good.
Or what's going to happen is that basically we won't talk about those things. We'll talk about how beautiful this figure is and how much we love it and how much people should get it without talking about the price. Somebody's going to buy it. They're going to get in the chat and be like, yo, this figure was this, how much? It was so expensive. And then in the chat, it's going to go back and forth about prices. Yeah. We don't even have to talk about it. In the chat, they'll do it because we didn't bring it up. We didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that people, they put a lot of responsibility on us to say certain things and to tell them certain things when really we're just like you. We're waiting on certain figures, or, we might think certain things are expensive, but it's the simple fact that we may dodge that to talk about just the beauty. And I get that because that's why I got into this shit, is because I loved it. Again, one of the first Hot Toy figures that I had, once it was released, was Kylo Ren, just like you. Kylo Ren was my first. When I saw that figure, I was in love, and I knew basically, like, look, I started looking around at different figures and I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's hot. And that's why I got into it. But then I started noticing certain things and I'm like, wow, like it really is, kind of hectic in this community. Like, strictly, it gets toxic. Yeah. The community, the discussions get toxic. That's why I would never, ever have a Facebook group. Nobody's going to pay me to do that shit because it's too toxic.
I don't know how Justin does it, to be honest.
You know what I mean? But I just want to, I agree. I want to get back to the love and the beauty and the crafting of these figures. That's what I want to talk about. And if we can debate on that, look, if we had a full debate on, oh, that head sculpt is ugly. Oh, I love this. Oh, that's disgusting. Why do you collect that figure? It's trash. I can do that all day. But when we start talking about money, I get angry too but at the same time, I get angry because I don't want people like me, because look, I am not rich. I'm telling you that right now, I'm not rich. But I think it is a responsibility sometimes for me to just let people know what would be the smart way to do certain things. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Before you move, I just want to because you brought up a good point, like what I said to talk about, right? So now we dive into the things that we normally don't talk about when we talk about Hot Toys, because how many times can we just say like, oh, this chrome Beskar's awesome. Lyle, do you remember when we were drooling about Hellboy and Alita? I think we mentioned price, but in a positive way. It was like, it's only $265, and $265,
and I'll pay that
money
because
I know that figure is great.
Right? But I wanted it, so I didn't. Because we wanted it was a beautiful figure, so I'll pay that price for that shit.
No one disagree with that. They might not like the movie Hellboy, and by all accounts, that is not a good movie. But god damn, that figure is a work of art. So that was not mentioned. The material was not mentioned, like the movie. It's just the love for the figure, how good it is. And I hope we get more of that.
Yeah,
and I agree. And before we move on to this one, Desperage, thank you so much. Really does mean a lot. These super chats, guys, super generous. Seriously, what's the unique figure? One unique figure you guys would love to see? Great panel, guys. Even Will took a subtle jab at me, just had to do it. So what's before we get to Dante and Michael on this one, real quick, we'll just go around real quick. What's one unique figure you guys would love to see? For me, if we're sticking to just films, because there's so many video game characters that I could say, but I don't know. That's a really tough one. What films have came out? Like one of them, optical, you mentioned the other day, the Hacksaw Ridge. That film is really, really great. The Andrew Garfield from that film, that would be cool. I mean, Hot Toys would never make that, but that would be mine. So what do you think, Optical? Do you have a unique figure you'd like to see?
Oh, a lot, but I'll start off with Troy Achilles.
Oh, that would
yeah.
be cool. What about you, Leo? Anything unique you'd like to see?
Hell yeah, I would want to see a 1/6 scale goose from Galaxy Rangers. From
Okay, I thought
Galaxy
you meant from
Rangers,
Top
bro.
Gun. I was like,
Nah, from Galaxy Rangers, bro. His name was Goose. He was like a Clint Eastwood looking figure, but he was amazing. The character
Okay,
was.
okay.
If you look up Galaxy Rangers, it was an old anime television show. But yeah, I would love
okay.
to see that.
What about you, Justin? Any unique figure you'd like to see?
There's a lot of stuff out there, but one thing that isn't out there, 6 scale turtles. Classic.
Oh,
Like Mecha one, the way the Mecha did it, but just in 6 scale. No no rubber, all joints, but they are so well hidden that you wouldn't even know they're there.
Beautiful.
That's what I'd be in.
that's a good one. What about you, Dante?
I don't know, man. I grew up with Van Damme. Like, I would probably
Ooh.
say the one from Bloodsport. Bloodsport. That was the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
Okay.
the
What
one
about you,
that he's
Mike?
dancing. Like,
Okay.
The dancing version, or
Dancing version.
whatever
That's the
version, man.
deluxe.
That would
That's
be
the
dope.
deluxe.
though.
What about you,
Dude,
Mike?
this is not unique, but just I would love a Best Ben Han, please.
Oh, best
yeah, yeah,
You're not the
yeah.
only one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Good. So Dante, what do you have to say about this topic, real quick? We got to hit you, Mike, on this topic.
Yeah, I was listening to everyone's point, and it's very fair and valid. The one thing I noticed, I started my channel last year, right? And I saw many collectors coming, but I also saw many collectors going. And the main issue is because they don't know what they're getting into. They just because they see us, and we do reviews of figures that we like. And to be fair, if you pay 250, 260, $300 for Hot Toys, I mean, it's a good quality stuff. It's kind of hard to dislike it, right? Whether you love the character or not. Like example, Alita, for example, excellent figure. Hellboy, excellent figure as well. John Wick, are you kidding me? John Wick came with so many accessories. Those are the one-offs, right? But I think it's important to talk about the price so people know what they're gonna get into. Because sometimes they just go buy stuff and they don't know. They buy one, oh, this is beautiful. Let me order another one. Let me order another one. And then they get into the hole. I was in the hole. I said it many, many times.
I've done it.
And from my mistakes, our responsibility as content creators, and we spoke about this behind the scenes, is to tell people what it is, like what you're gonna spend and the mistakes we made so you don't make it. Simple as that.
I agree.
That's something that we have to talk about. And I know, and I agree with Justin, we need to talk about more about the quality of the stuff, the head sculpt, the accessories. It is fun to talk about that, but I guess the way it is now, I think people are more conscious, and they want to make informed decisions before getting into anything. Something that in the past wasn't the case. Like a few years ago, nobody was talking about price. They were talking about which one is the next figure I'm gonna get. They were paying day one prices. Now not anymore. Now everyone talking about the price. Even the Facebook groups, you see the where they're selling figures. Yeah, if you sell at $5 above price, they're gonna trust you, man. They're gonna kill you. But it is a fact. I mean, you
Yeah,
see it
it is.
there.
It is.
It is a fact. So those are the things that we need to speak about, I think, more. But yes, we also need to not go apart from the fact that this is a hobby. We love what we do. We love the figures, and also the art of it, right? We cannot miss to talk about that either. Yes, it's good to talk about price. It's good to talk about how you're gonna get your figures, how we do it, so you guys can probably do it the same, or maybe you already have your own way. But also talk about the nostalgia factor, right? Why are you connected to this particular figure? Why do you like collecting? Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mike, what do you think about this?
I think everyone had excellent points, and I really enjoyed listening to everyone's perspective on this. And I agree. I wish that we didn't have to talk about price or talk about these things, and we could just focus on the quality and why it makes us happy. And but there's been so much change just in the last year, like just all these different companies and these third-party companies making excellent things. And I feel like every day we're bombarded with something new, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And when it comes to certain companies, maybe it's not something new, but it's just something slightly different, which in some cases it's cool because newer collectors who are just stepping into the game could pick these things up that are otherwise going for crazy numbers on the aftermarket. But for others, it's just kind of okay, another Iron Man, another Spider-Man. And I've kind of gotten myself into a trap too, where I'm like, well, I was pretty much primarily Star Wars only, and then I'm like, I just want to try just this, Arkham Batman just to see, and I got it, and it's like, damn, what have I been missing out on? And then I'm like, well, what about if I try an Iron Man? And then, then the floodgates are open. And then you discover, guys like Will and Justin, Lael, and, everyone here, and you start watching all the stuff. And I'm speaking as an outsider and being like, wow, this is amazing. And, you see the enthusiasm, and it's very easy to get caught up, and especially, Justin's like, this is the best I've ever seen, and it's like, well, which is almost every one. And so I'm going to buy almost every one. But certain people, it's you have to just, I don't know, the one way I've gotten around the evolution of not just collecting but my own collection is by bringing things in but also pushing things out. And so I'm trying to have an equal in and out of the door. And I know a lot of people say I'm never going to sell anything, and I was saying that a year and a half ago, but I'm selling a ton of stuff, and I'm not selling to necessarily you gain or scalp, but actually the way I see selling is I'm helping someone who's new. So with statues like third-party statues or even regular ones, I try to give them retail, and so you help someone out that way, which is kind of nice. So kind of passing it on, and hopefully it comes back to you someday. But I feel like my personal balance is what comes in, other stuff goes out. So we try to keep it equal that way. And obviously there's, you're going to buy new stuff and spend more money sometimes, but try to even it out that way.
Right. Yeah. And I think just to summarize this topic, everyone had like really good perspective. So seriously, like that's why you guys are all on this panel, because you're all amazing and you have your unique perspectives. I think the way I approach these type of topics is because it promotes responsibility and promotes the idea of appreciating what you do have, right? I think that's the biggest thing. Getting back to the artistry of the collectibles is exactly what I think we're trying to do by saying appreciate what you have and appreciate, the patience of getting something that's really rewarding. And I think also all these figures look fantastic. All of them look great. I mean, even the ones we don't really like, they're fucking awesome. I mean, they all look great. The artistry of them is off the charts from Hot Toys and all these other companies. The collectible market has never been better than it is today. I mean, the options that we have, and that's kind of the point, I think. Everything's cool. Like Optical has talked about, right? Everything's cool. So, we have to be selective, and I think promote that sort of mindset, just because, everything's cool when you can't have everything. So appreciating what you do have and appreciating what you want the most is kind of what I strive for. That's how I do it. If everyone else, do your own thing. But, it's, Justin does love bunny slippers, though. It's true. It is confirmed. He told me this in a private chat. He told me in confidence, but I will share it with the people.
He does.
Wow.
Yeah. Justin said they're my secret weapon. That's my secret. I'm always wearing bunny slippers.
Damn right.
So, So guys, seriously awesome chat there. Lael said I was typing with my feet too. I do that. I'm known to do it time to time.
So the toe's fixed then.
For now. Yeah. That's probably how I injured it, typing on the keyboard.
That would do it. That would do it.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about toes now?
It'll injure you. So Don didn't know that about me. I'm very skilled with my feet. So guys, let's go around the panel real quick. Lael, what do you have coming up, man, on your channel?
Let's see here. Tomorrow I'll be doing a interview with Justin Slippers. So tune in for that.
Oh my god.
He didn't even charge you for that.
Wow.
No. Nah, tomorrow. No, honestly. Tomorrow we are talking about episode 3 of Hawkeye on Comic Book Talk with Friends. So that should be interesting. If you haven't watched it yet, don't watch the show, because I don't want to spoil it for everybody. So yeah, just kind of chill on that one. I believe on Justin's show, I will be interviewing him about his slippers. So I'll ask him some questions on his show on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Everybody tune in to Justin's Collection, because we'll be talking about his slippers.
Oh
I'm going to slide that in. He doesn't think I am, but I will slide that in.
Well, I better make sure I got the slippers ready.
Yeah, get them ready.
Get them right. On Wednesday, actually, we'll be talking about, we're going to steer away from prices, but we're going to talk about delays and are the figures worth is it worth the wait? Literally once we get it, is it worth the wait? But, due to all the delays and everything that we have, will that figure live up to the hype? So we'll basically have that discussion, based on the simple fact that if we've already gone through it before, like where we've gotten delays on certain figures and we finally got in, did it live up to that hype? Did we think that figure was great? Again, I promise you there will be no discussions about price, and it will be interesting to hear what Justice says because I want to know about every figure, including the slippers, and if he has 1/6 scale slippers for all his figures.
He does.
So we
he
will
does.
find that about. Right? He's gonna put that in. But yeah, that's it. And then next Sunday, it will be Take Your Position with me and Iron Logan. We will be doing it's actually our we're actually calling it the No Way Home Eve show that we're going to actually have because it's going to be targeting Spider-Man. So it's going to
Leon,
be Spider-Man.
Can
Yes.
I tell you
Yes.
something that
Yes.
this is the deepest regret that I've had this week,
What?
and it's Spider-Man themed.
What happened?
So I just got in the good books with Sony, and I went to the Venom premiere. You can see where this is
Yeah.
going, I bet.
What happened?
They said we'll invite you to the Spidey premiere. I was like, bloody brilliant! I'm gonna get to see Spidey early. Oh yes.
Oh shit.
I checked my junk mail on Friday.
What happened?
Tickets were there. They were sent on Wednesday. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going. Clicked on the thing, RSVP. Sorry, it's now full.
He didn't reply.
So you had to reply at a certain time.
Yeah.
Why
I had
didn't
to
they tell
reply.
you that?
I don't know. So I missed out on going to the Spidey premiere like 3 or 4 days early. I am so angry with myself and also with Apple for putting that Sony email in junk. Come on, Apple.
Oh, why didn't they just send it to your email, like your regular email? Like, did they send you an email letting you know that they were going to RSVP, or that
She
you were
said
invited?
that she'll put me on the list, whatever that means. And then so I knew that something was coming, but I just expected it to be from her, from the PR lady at Sony. But it came from a completely different email address. I was so mad at myself.
I'm
at
mad with
Apple
you
for
right
putting it
now.
in junk. Steph was like, I cannot even believe you. And I'm like, I don't know what happened.
Did you tell? Well,
I emailed her and I was like, the wait list is full. Any chance, there's a little seat in the. I'll stand in the back. Like, I won't even sit down. I'll just stand back there.
Did she
and I'll watch.
respond?
She hasn't replied, unfortunately.
Just cross your fingers. She should probably respond
somebody will
sometime
drop
this week.
out.
Just
like the
I'm
sideshow wait list.
hoping
She'll be
someone
fine.
bows out. I'm on the wait list. I'm thinking about just turning up anyway and just standing there and just being like, look, I'll just stand in the back. I don't even care. I want to watch this movie whether I'm sitting down or not.
bro.
So
That
I'll bring my own chair. I'll bring my own chair.
sucks.
At some point they'll feel bad, so they'll let you.
Whoa.
right.
That
We'll take
sucks.
pity on you, Justin.
Especially because you know what's gonna happen with the spoilers, right? Like people
Right.
everywhere spoiling the movie.
no.
Every freaking where.
That's
I got my
why the
tickets
day
at 3 a.m.
before, I'm not streaming the day before.
Don't
I'm
stream,
not
don't do
doing
nothing.
anything.
Nothing,
I'm
nothing.
turning off nothing. The day before, I'm not doing anything before that movie because we're going on opening night. But
Yeah,
I'm not
same here.
looking at nothing. I don't.
here, yeah.
Nothing's happening the day before. I don't even think I'm gonna do a stream the day before. Period. At all.
Don't even
I'm
try
not.
because they're gonna put something in the comments.
I'm
and
not.
That's it.
I'm not doing
You know what's-
anything.
Funny story. Like years ago, when The Force Awakens was released, I was supposed to go opening night, but my son got sick, so I couldn't go that night. So I said, "Freak it, I'm gonna go on the weekend. Then I'm gonna go by myself." Somebody spoiled it and said, "Oh, Han Solo died," and I was like,
Yeah.
so freaked. Man, I was pissed. And then I was
Yeah.
hoping, please, I hope this is not real. As soon as I saw Kylo Ren with Han Solo, the lightsaber, I'm like, fuck.
You already knew it was actually
Oh
coming.
man,
Yeah.
those are the worst.
Yeah.
And with this
Oh,
one,
no.
even worse. Just
Yeah, I've heard of
Log
stories though, people even putting that shit on their license plate, like on the back of their car and stuff.
What
like
you
Han
hear what
Solo
they-
dies, yeah.
You hear what they
Oh.
did with so basically like so the earlier press, so press that actually got a chance to see
40
the
minute
first
thing.
they're only seeing 40 minutes of it. Like they're not
Yeah,
showing them the
that's what they
end.
said.
And I'm glad. I'm
I am
so
too.
glad they're doing
Me
it. That's
too, me
dope.
too.
They only get
Yeah.
40 minutes of the movie, and a lot of them were pissed about it. But
can
it's
you
like,
imagine
yeah.
those people? I'm like, oh,
Well,
it's
it sucks, but also obviously what it tells. I was watching John Campbell talk about this, and he was saying like obviously what that tells you is there's some shit in there that's so batshit crazy that they can't even trust professionals to keep it a secret.
So I'm gonna tell you
yeah,
this
like
right now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you this.
Yeah,
what I
baby.
think right now. This is just basically what I think right now.
Oh, here we go.
Miles is in this movie.
I think so. Yeah.
I think Miles is
Oh,
in this movie.
Everyone's just okay.
Oh, the
we'll see.
2099 Spidey.
Yeah, 29.
think-
Hey, that
I
Spider-Verse
think
trailer was lit.
It could that Spider-Verse, and I thought that's what you were going to talk about tonight, but you didn't. So thanks for
Nah,
saving it.
Next time. Well, that and Morbius. Did you watch that Morbius clip?
Hell yeah!
That shit was sick.
Yeah.
Did you send it to Justin?
Yeah, that's
he's-
it.
oh, he
Okay.
sent it. Don't even
Okay.
worry.
It was
was
real good.
amazing.
It surprised me because I didn't think the
Incredible.
movie was going to be good, but it looks good. Looks
Hell
good.
yeah!
Hey, Will, you said that about Eternals as well. The trailer, you were like, "Oh, trailer looks
Yeah,
real
I was
good."
the
And I was
opposite.
like,
I thought the
did you
trailer
not?
looked
I don't know.
amazing, and then it
And
didn't
didn't
come out
like
good for
the
me.
movie.
Yeah.
Come
But-
on.
so-
Anyway, that's pretty much it. So we'll be doing
worries.
Spider-Man next Sunday. It'll be a pose off. So normally it's me and Iron Logan, but we are inviting 2 people. So if you're interested in posing off with us next Sunday, just let us know. And man,
How's the application process?
I see you shaking hands. So if you want to come on, bro, we got a space for you. If you want to pose, you got Spider-Man, right? So let's go. Let's go.
Cool.
That's it. And then Will, your show that evening, so that'd be good.
Yeah, hey, there you go. There you go.
And then Optical
Using the
be on
show to
too.
promote
Yeah.
the show.
So
Yeah,
we're gonna
I like it.
we're gonna bring Optical because his ass tends not to want to come.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Dante, what's coming up for Man of Hot Collectibles?
Pennywise is coming. I'm just kidding. I really hope. So I'm waiting for the 1/4 scale Mando. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, Tuesday, you'll see the review. Between Collectors is coming episode 2. A lot of people liked it, so thank you for that. Episode 2 is coming on Wednesday, and then we're gonna have a regular live stream on Friday. And I don't know what else is gonna happen on the week, but anything can happen at this point. If only if Pennywise is finally announced, Will is gonna go to whatever channels, either mine or I'll go to his, and he's gonna wear the Loki helmet, and we're gonna talk about Pennywise.
Hey,
Just
I
putting
never
you on the
agreed to
spot.
that, but I'll do it. I probably won't be able to wear it the whole time though. I'll just put it on.
With a
Only
wig.
for a special occasion, like Pennywise getting released. Any other occasion, nah.
You know what? Me
Nice
and
to see everyone,
Justin,
too.
me and Justin are going live just to talk about how happy we are that you guys finally got that shit. We're gonna toast on camera and be like, it is over. Now it is over.
It's
Oh,
kind
it's
of like
never over.
Never again. Never again.
You know,
Optical might want to join us, Dante, because he loves
I know,
Pennywise too.
right? It's kind of like when the president talks about the state of the country, and then right after the Republicans or Democrats, whatever, they talk about the counter
Hey,
response,
Justin, you should go back to all the streams and just clips of Will talking about
Bro,
it.
it'd
Just
be
put
like
it-
20
It'll
minutes
be
long.
hours worth of
But seriously, Dante, yeah, thanks so much both of you guys for joining. Justin, what's coming up with you besides the amazing figures and flicks?
Well, figures and flicks. Figures and flicks, and someone said and slippers, but I'm going to change it to figures and flicks and footwear. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. And footwear.
We're gonna
Figures,
keep the
flicks,
F
and
thing rolling.
footwear. There you
Yeah,
go.
we're gonna
And
keep it
toes.
rolling.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, toes. Surely there's an F word for toes. Phalanges.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. But yeah, I've got a bunch of figures to review. So expect some. There's going to be an Electro review dropping tonight. So retro review on Electro. Not everyone loves Electro. I
Hell
am
yeah.
tempted.
I
to
love
get
that
the,
figure.
The Django Unchained head sculpt from I forget who made it, but it's
Oh,
fantastic.
Present Toys. Present
Maybe
Toys.
Present Toys, yeah, and then put it on that Electro because
Just to see, yeah.
maybe he is looking like that before he converts himself back to looking normal because all the other villains look the same. So why would Electro not start off at least blue and then
Yeah.
turn back into normal Jamie Foxx? We'll
Yeah.
see. So I'm tempted to get that head sculpt and put it on, see what it looks like. But bunch of reviews coming this week. I was thinking about maybe not doing a live stream this week so I can get a bunch of figures out, but then
That
again,
might do it.
Lales, he's already excited to be on the stream. You know, we're
we'll
going to
see.
talk about some stuff.
We'll
so
see.
I think we will do it. We will do
see.
it. And you know, we'll be chatting all things, even unfortunately things that I don't want to talk about. I've been put to bed on this one. So Justin will shut the F up when it comes to talking about stuff that he doesn't want to talk about. I'll just sit there quietly.
Nah, you know what?
Like
we just
I'm gonna
priced.
do with the Spider-Man No Way Home premiere. I'm gonna sit there quietly in the back on my own chair.
bro, have hope. They're gonna. She's gonna respond.
Oh,
She's gonna respond.
I've been checking my email nonstop. I'm like, oh, please.
Check your spam folder
She'll
again.
respond.
Yeah,
She'll
check that
respond.
junk folder again.
Well,
yeah.
that's a good-
Always.
I didn't get tickets for Ghostbusters, which was weird because they had an event and I saw a bunch of people going to it. It's really weird how they do the premieres here. Like most of the time, they'll give tickets to smaller collectible stores and they'll give them away.
Damn.
Oh, was that?
was
Little,
What the hell is that?
little reverb there.
That was me. That my tool dropped on the floor.
Oh, okay. I was like, it sounded like a drum or something. Yeah.
No,
Just
it was
let me ask you
He's
this
giving me a
question.
little bit of backing music there. You know, just emphasize my point.
Yeah.
Quick-
Justin
quick-
needed a background song.
Just a quick
I-
question for
I-
Justin. When is the release of a Spider-Man over there? Like, is that the same as the US or is it different?
Yes, but we're a day early than you. So even though it's the same date, we are a day early. But then the premiere was Tuesday, so it would have been
Oh,
Monday
wow.
for you guys. So I would have been seeing it next
3D
Monday, which would have been fucking fantastic. But my stupid ass forgot to check my junk folder because I don't know why, and now I don't get to go.
Well, you're not
which
the only
I'm
one. I don't
furious
even
about.
check my spam folder.
Yeah, I
Nobody does
honestly,
that.
I'm surprised they even checked it on Friday. So it was a 2-day. I was 2 days late, and of course the event was full because they sent it to like just random people. Like I messaged her saying, "Look, I review films now. I've got a big presence in reviewing pop culture related products. I would love to promote Sony on in the video and just say, thank you to Sony for letting me come along. It's a great movie, whatever. Or if it's shit, I'll let you know as well. But it would like they're not really getting anything per se out of just giving away tickets to random people who don't. They just come along and sit there and say, okay, cool,
Yeah.
I've seen it now. See you later. Like it's a bit weird how they do it. They don't give it to
Right.
press. They don't give it to reviewers. It's just like random people like just won a lottery or something and like, here you go, there's your ticket. What the hell? What the hell?
I was forgetting that Justin is Australian until he swears.
Yeah.
Must be the accent. I
There
don't
you
know.
go. We won something recently. I don't know if you can count it as winning, but Australians apparently are now considered the most intoxicated people on the planet.
Nice.
So we beat the UK, we beat the US.
Wear that
Yeah,
badge. badge
I
proudly.
don't drink. I don't drink, so it's always a weird topic of conversation when you go
Yeah.
to a party or something. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm like, no, I don't drink." They're like, "Oh," like they take it like
It
as an
happens to me too,
offense.
Justin. Yeah.
Happens to
I was
me
like,
all the
"Oh my God."
time.
Yeah, I forgot, Leo. You don't drink either. Yeah,
Nah.
we all know how that
Offensive
is.
to
Yeah, you go to a party and
No.
they're like, "What?"
No,
No, it's
I
like
live
you
I
say
live
fucking
vicariously
weird,
through
bro.
optical.
I'm a raging alcoholic, so yeah.
Anyway,
I've been to
I'll
AA
be quiet
meetings.
now.
So, okay. So, Optical, what's coming up with you?
Not much, just staying at home, but
You staying home, just
No.
Go to the
just,
Spider-Man premiere.
Yeah,
being
right.
It is what it is.
checking spam folders every once in a while,
Yeah, you gotta check that.
finding out that I'm a beneficiary of some prints somewhere. But
Of course.
no, I was thinking of doing another review of The Crow because Sideshow put that out. So I was just like, hey, you know what? I reviewed this 8 years ago or 7 years ago. Maybe it's time to revisit it. And a bunch of dioramas that no one asked for. So yeah.
We love dioramas, Optical. Come on, man.
He's a diorama man now.
I'm a
Justin.
diorama guy now. It's like, don't buy figures.
Damn,
but spend a
quarter
lot of money
scale
on dioramas.
dioramas. Soon you're going to change your name to Justin. What's going to happen next?
And
Yeah,
Doc
well,
Smith's a great comment. Justin, you are very intoxicating. Wow, he's flirting with you, Doc.
Thank you.
Be
Thank you.
more
Dr.
subtle,
Mizzle.
Doc. Come on,
I'll
bro.
take it.
Take it easy, man.
I'll take it. I'll take
You're
it.
you're a mod, Doc. Come on, gotta act
Come on.
professional.
A little chub right now.
So exactly, half job. So, Mike, is there anything you want to promote? Maybe your other live streams. I didn't know exactly what you wanted to promote with us.
Yeah, I don't have too much going on, but we changed Sithcast to Wednesday nights now. So if you guys want to come talk about Star Wars and just have some
Oh my
fun,
god! I just got an email from. I just got an email from Sony.
What they say?
Sorry, I'm just going to read.
They said,
You
"Fuck
keep
now."
going, Mike. I'll read this in the background.
Did you get your invitation back?
No.
She just said, "Leave it with me if I can find a way to get you in." All right. Okay.
Nice.
I'll
See,
Hey,
there you
that's
go.
good,
There
that's
you
good,
go,
there you
bro.
go.
See, I
Hey,
told you,
that's
man.
progress.
I told
I'm
you.
literally
It's so
going to reply
slippery,
to her.
Some
I'm
hope.
literally going to reply to her and say, even if you can't, I will stand in the back. I'll bring my own seat and I'll stand in the back and watch it. That's how excited I am to see it. So I'll reply to her and tell her that. So,
And then say she owes you money.
of course.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, because it's
Sorry,
on
Mike.
PJ's channel, Sithcast, right?
Yeah. So Sithcast is on PJ's channel, and it's with me, PJ, and Sean Solo, and we've been having a lot of fun since Sean's been there. So it's just kind of a goofing around kind of thing on a Wednesday in the middle of the week, and come and join us, have some fun.
Nice. Sounds good, dude. Yeah, when I've watched you guys, real good chemistry. It's been looking real fun. So
Thanks, man.
keep up the good work. Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, we got one more super chat. Carlos just had to do it to us. He had to throw us back into that realm. He said, Carlos, thanks so much, by the way. If we don't pre-order, wouldn't that mean smaller batches and Hot Toys not taking chances on figures? Maybe they're seeing King Shark pre-orders and giving up on DC. That's why I think a lot of people did pre-order Cyborg day one. Show the support, right? Do you think there's any truth to this, real quickly?
It doesn't make any difference. Sorry, in Hong Kong it does, but if you pre-order from Sideshow, it makes no difference because Sideshow's already ordered 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 or 100,000 if you're an Iron Man. So Carlos, unless you're in Hong Kong, you're not making any direct impact on the size of the batch, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Okay, good to know.
Deal with that.
Yeah, so TLC,
She
thanks.
must have been watching the stream.
She must have been watching the stream. She probably was. Dude.
Thank you.
She felt bad.
Unnamed Sony employee, because I don't want to say your name. Thank you for watching the
Thank
stream.
you.
We appreciate you. If you want to sort me out with some spite, of course. The applause.
Yeah.
Excellent. What
Sorry, Justin,
timing
go
on
ahead.
that email coming through? What timing?
That was
It was
really
like, oh fuck, he put us on the spot.
I gotta get that.
That's live TV
Let me,
for you right
let me
there.
give out 6 tickets now.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much, TLC, seriously. But guys, thanks so much for the chat. Very productive. Great as always. We mingled, we did our thing. So that's a wrap. That's another episode of Collectors Mingle in the bag. We will catch you in the next one.